7 o'clock, everybody. How's everyone doing? It's 7 p.m. It's Friday evening. It is the second day in July. Man, summer is upon us. Summer is upon us. For any of you who've been in the greater United States, you know that some of y'all have suffered some amazing heat. And some of us have been looking at the heat, complaining about the heat, not really being in the heat. But that's what Americans do. That's how we do. So, welcome to the show. This is the New Norm 2.0 with Mo Delgado. I'm your boy, the host, the sexiest man in this seat right at this moment. You know it, and I know it. So beyond that, welcome to the show. It is a Friday evening here where I'm located in Lang City, New Jersey, and seems to be a really busy day. I'm going to touch up on some things in a second. Let me just make sure that everything is going good. All the way around, as people who've known to watch the show know that at times we have to realign the setting, make sure everything is good, and making sure everything is everything. Yeah, because unfortunately, no matter how much you make a request to do a specific thing a certain way, there's always going to be something in return letting you know. Hey, Tiffany, how are you? I see that you said hello. I hope you're well. Okay, so we're good on Facebook. Let me make sure that YouTube is good, and then we'll continue with the show. But I'm hoping everybody's all right, and I'm hoping that your week was productive. I was inclined to believe that these past 5-6 days was quiet. However, come to find out that it wasn't as quiet as I thought here in Lang City. Looking at these new apps that seem to be available on everybody's phones these days, these news apps, they let you know how things happen, and they seem to be a little more frequent than most of us know. All right, cool. We good? We straight? Hopefully everybody can hear me. So let me move it around. Now, again, I've been hoping that it's been quiet in our community here in Lang City. It's an unfortunate reality that we've suffered quite a lot of violence, gun violence in our community, and lost a lot of lives. And we continue to send our hopes and prayers and our thoughts to all the families who have suffered. Any life taken is one life too many. And then let us also keep in mind the families of the people who committed these crimes, because they have to suffer as well for bad choices. So let's keep that all in mind, and let's keep them pumping. Make sure that you show a soft, kind heart and hand to the mothers who are mourning. There's more and more mothers out here mourning the loss of their loved ones. And it's really hard. It's extremely difficult. You really can't find the words to say to someone in mourning. You just want to offer them a big old hug and hoping that you can give them a little resolve, a little sense of comfort, a relaxation in your arms. And I got some big ass arms, y'all. I can hold as many as I possibly can, and I'm offering so much love and always a shoulder for any of you in that situation. Just know that we're all in this together, and we're going to get past all this. In addition to, also keep in mind, there's a lot of elders who have either passed on already or in a really holding on to life at this moment in time, making sure you keep their families in mind, make sure you keep the spirits up, make sure you try to keep them encouraged. Remember, the seniors, the elders have suffered a lot and sacrificed a lot for all of us in essence. And so we have to keep their spirit going and love going to help give them life again. And for those that passed on, to continue with their legacy. It's extremely important that we keep them all in mind. I know younger folks these days feel so enamored with the concept of I, me, us, meaning the younger group. And I understand that. We were all there at one aspect or another. But please don't forget your roots. Don't forget your families. Don't forget that you're linked to many people. You're linked. So it's extremely important that we refresh our understanding when it comes to what we are connected and how we are connected. Because I tell you, man, a lot of us are related. In a small city like ours, Lang City, a lot of people hold on to the idea that we're not related. We're not cousins. Be straight up blood relatives and want to say, oh, we're not related, we're not cousins, and so on and so forth. I'm like, look, you can deny all the way you want to, as much as you can try to deny, but the reality is that we're related. In a small town like this, most people are related. So we have to keep that in mind and do what we can to honor and celebrate one another. Because it's extremely important that we do so because we're losing one another. So, as we go forward, just keep that in mind, y'all. So, sending a big shout out to all my cousins, all my loved ones, all my aunties, my uncles, everyone out there. Remember, our community is comprised of many people coming from different origins of life, but here in Lake City, we're all one family. So I salute all my family. So moving forward, we're going to touch up a little bit about some local issues and talk about the things that have been transpiring on the news that I think is extremely important to highlight because too often things happen and life gets in the way. We're not informed. And here in the city of Atlantic City, we are deprived of having our own news sources. So we have to rely on secondary news sources like myself and others to try to get some information along to you guys. And even in the situation where some of it may be in the press, not everyone gets the press. And then it's not necessarily available. So those that stay ignorant seem to be controlled and manipulated. So I'm going to help fight to keep you guys informed as much as I possibly can. So I just wanted to touch up on something else extremely important also. In the summer, we are a really highly active species of beings, human beings, good weather, warm weather. And if you live in an area or climate like I do, we see the full four seasons, right? And then when the summer comes about, we feel so enamored that the summer's here. So we let loose. We let it go. We unwrap ourselves. We unclothe ourselves. We disrobe ourselves, and we lay our sheets down, and we fly free. We allow the sun to bathe us. We're children of the sun, and some, unfortunately, also let loose whatever demons they have inside, and they're just looking for any reason to exhale. And during this pandemic that we've had a lot of situations where people have shown signs of mental health issues, mental health breaks and what have you, snapping. And we're all human beings. Some of us just carry stress better than others, but we're all fallible. We're not perfect. So we have to pay attention to one another. Enjoy the opportunities of being able to go outside. Please do so. But be responsible in your actions while you're outside. Make sure you're cognizant of how everyone else is around you. Be cognizant of how you impact anybody around you. And then enjoy yourselves. If it's a little beverage that you want to partake in, do so. Enjoy. Kick back, take a couple of them. Tell them Uncle Mo said drink 2 or 3 of them if you want. Just make sure you discard whatever bottle, beverage can, whatever it came in the proper place. Don't just throw it on the ground. Mother Earth is beautiful when she's free from garbage, man. Take care of her. She's been taking care of us from the very beginning. We have to make sure we do better by her. While we're out here swimming in the waters, oceans and lakes, make sure that, you're safe in doing so. You don't know what kind of chemicals involved. You don't know who's peeing in the water. And you've been swimming and peeing in the water. Everyone seems to have done it once or twice in their lives or do it regularly. So let's be cognizant of all that stuff. So don't be foolish. Don't go up in and think it's really clean because it isn't. So make sure that you wash up and make sure that your body hygiene is together before you go out there and shed it upon the world. If you really care about the people that you love around you and then the society that surrounds you, like in the communities that you are. So, just be conscious of that. Please also be conscious of those who don't have anyone. We have far too many people who have seemed to have lost loved ones or have lost touch with their loved ones, and they're wandering around lonesome. Some individuals are pretty good. They prefer being alone, and they manage and do what they need to do to live a life. Sometimes leaving their life behind to try to set a new life in them in process or in action to shed whatever's happened in their past, to let go of what was and renew themselves. We all at times choose to rebuild, remark, rebrand ourselves, to renew, to give us a second chance. So it's okay if we do that. Just take a better look at it, because we tend to always mind our business unless it entertains us. Just mind one another better. I want you to do that. Enjoy it. So I think that's probably enough of my commentary for now. But let's talk a little bit about the updates. All right. Recently, a lot of discussions been taking place about IRS tax returns. There is an estimated 35 million tax returns that are on holding right now, and they should be out in July. If you're out there trying to figure out whether your tax return is still due, if you go on to findmytaxes.com, you might have a problem because it's not updated there. However, latest information suggests that the resource that you were able to use before to access your taxes or access the IRS so you can update information is now available. So you can update information, but you won't be able to get other information. Hey, Brother Sandy, I see that you touched base, man. I'm hoping that you jump on a little later, man. I don't know if you're at work or not, but let's continue. We're talking about the taxes, the IRS. 35 million taxes are still waiting. If you try to call, understand they tell you only 9% of total calls get through. And of those 9%, only 3% of all the calls that go through actually catch someone. You're able to speak to some human being. 3% of all the calls. So 35 million, it's coming. It's coming. They're hoping that by mid-July, everything should be out there if you haven't received it all. So just to make sure you check onto it. In addition to, I want to talk about real big one. The last time the discussions have been taking place about this fourth stimulus. Right now, they are building the momentum to make sure that this fourth stimulus is included or at least considered for this infrastructure bill that's taking place really soon. The fourth stimulus check should come through in the second portion of the infrastructure bill. The infrastructure bill is going to set up in two separate parts. The first part is going to physical infrastructure, dealing with bridges, roads, light, electricity, that type of infrastructure, the stuff that we all need. The second is social infrastructure and human infrastructure. And then those are the welfare infrastructure that we tend to rely on for support. Human services, policing, community advocate, secondary education, programs like that. The discussion had about the second portion. These are the included portions that they're discussing that will be part of this bill. Now, check this out. It's going to be free community college for up to 2 years for anyone that's interested. It's going to be an extended child tax credit moving forward. And that's focusing on child poverty. Uncle Joe, aka President Biden, is talking about the importance of trying to uplift children out of poverty and helping their families. And the tax credit system is hopefully an impetus that's going to help with this one. So they're looking to do that. The tax credit for green and clean energy, that's also included in there. So as we move forward with electric power, solar power, hydro, green power, things like this, there'll be more opportunities for business to be able to function doing that, and some businesses turning to that away from fossil fuels. So that's a really helpful thing. There's also a portion in there to guarantee all Americans sick pay and family leave. This also includes self-employed people who work themselves or gig workers. So this opportunity will be available for you and me as well. So that's a great thing. Universal preschool is also involved in this second portion of the infrastructure. So there's a lot of helpful elements that will be part of this part 2 section of the infrastructure bill. So we'll see. They're talking about the amounts that exceed over nearly $3 trillion to be spent for this second portion of the infrastructure. It is also said that they need the entire Democratic body to decide and vote for this. If you know, lately when it comes to the government, there's always been one individual who's a Democrat. Steve Mnuchin, I think it's Steve, is the one that has gotten in the way and sided with a lot of conservatives or the GOP on a lot of functions moving forward, and they've had to work around them. Well, Good old Stevie Boy, if that's his name. Let me make sure if I got it wrong, forgive me. Um, Mnuchin has said that he's going to go and support the infrastructure bill first, the first portion, and of course the second portion too. So hopefully that's going to be a potential moving forward. Now, in that second portion is also this last stimulus. Bernie Sanders recently was tweeting about the importance of how the stimulus check, what the intention was, and how it's mobilized things, and for it to continue the mobilization of the economy of Americans today, we need that the last push to help that we're over that hill. So let's see how this goes on. Let's keep in mind, and we'll as more information comes in, I'll make sure everyone is aware of it. Now, very important for anybody who pays attention, any renters out there, the CDC Eviction Protection Act that kicked in, that said that the CDC prevented from anyone to be terminated or evicted out of their homes for lack of payment, ends July 31st. The process of the CDC was thinking if anyone is evicted who may have COVID, for them spending time or having to, as they say, sofa surfing, they have a big tendency of sharing or spreading the SARS-CoV-19 virus. So they were doing this and treating this like a national health concern. And so they enacted the Protection Act. Well, it's over July 31st. So they're suggesting over 19 million Americans will be evicted. And that number actually may be a lot larger as time goes closer. So whatever it is that may be available in your immediate area, please contact your municipal government and see whatever kind of programs could be available to you. Also, the nonprofit organizations that are part of the health and welfare initiatives in your communities to see what they can help out. There's a lot of support in the general consensus of big cities throughout America, and there's a lot of funding sources that reach out from beach to beach, from side to side, from West Coast to East Coast. So if you're potentially in a risk of losing your home because you wasn't able to pay your bills, and you notified your landlord and you kept record that you wouldn't do so, I'm pretty certain there's something that you can find and help you. Please do so. Don't sit out there at the end and leave yourself in a really bad disposition that you have no other options. So if there's options for you now, please go there and see what you can to help you. Moving forward. The situation in Florida, Surfside, Florida. If you haven't noticed lately, there has been a collapse in Surfside, Florida. It's a city on the Gulf Coast of Florida that suffered major damage because of erosion internally, and had a major collapse. Half of the building is basically gone. And in that, some excess of 200 people were victimized by that fall. As of this date, 188 bodies have been accounted for. There's 20 that were found dead, and there's totally 128 missing still. 128 people have yet to be accounted for in this great dilemma of this tragedy that happened in Surfside, Florida. You got to remember, when you're talking about buildings and the ocean water and ocean air don't mix with metal well. It causes oxidation. Oxidation speeds up around climates that sort of become a propellant, perpetuant for oxidation. And in a lot of these buildings that were built some decades ago may have used inferior products that were available, and not knowing long-term effects or how the climate may affect the infrastructure of these buildings. And they found that right now they're going through a big mess. There's lots of records that suggest that long-term complaints have been had by the residents, by inspectors, suggesting that potential damages and potential harm could happen. And the co-op or the organization that's responsible for managing the building ignored it or just didn't move quickly on it. So now we are where we are. And right now, potentially what they're looking to do is the county officials suggesting that the entire building gets evacuated and the entire building finally gets demolished, so no other damage or no other risk can happen, not only to the people in the building, but the people surrounding it, and also the relief teams that are out there trying to find the body of the loved ones that have passed away. Sad to say, they just found a 7-year-old child. I think it was the child of one of the firefighters, which was extremely sad. They found an elderly couple in their beds holding hands, found dead, crushed. It's really sad, and it's really unfortunate situation. So, folks, just pay attention. I know myself and my colleague, Councilwoman Latoya Dunstan, are trying to encourage inspectors to do uh, a better job of inspecting buildings along the shore here in Lang City and build residential buildings throughout our area to see what we can do to avoid that kind of calamity, that kind of tragedy to happen, and any lives lost. So let's keep them in our thoughts and prayers. Make sure that we go forward. Just be very conscious when you walk into these beautiful towers, how long they've been there, what kind of inspection they are, and the potential danger. A lot of these individuals that live in these buildings have gone and migrated to that part of the United States to retire, their golden years. But unfortunately, now it's over 100 people that are missing. Their golden years may have ended, and it's a tragedy. So whatever we can do to keep their thoughts and prayers, make sure that you do that. In addition to, if you're interested in supporting the relief fund down there, do not go to a GoFundMe page. Don't go to Red Cross. They actually created an avenue for you to assist the relief efforts down in Surfside, Florida. It's www.miamidade.gov/emergency. That's www.miamidade.gov/emergency. If you're interested in showing some support, financial support for the relief effort down there, I'm pretty certain they'd be greatly appreciative of whatever you can send. Moving forward, there's a big concern about prices. If you noticed, the prices of different things all over the nation have increased like crazy. I mean, they're talking about gasoline going up to, in some regions, $4 a gallon, which in Hawaii, it ain't shit. That's cheap because they're always paying extraordinary fees or costs for gasoline, of course, because location and transportation and being able to get gasoline back and forth. But in areas where you have refineries like New Jersey, we have refineries here. There's refineries in Texas. Our prices aren't as high as other areas. We're still going to see some pretty high prices. But it's not because of what the speculators are saying. In essence, why the prices are going up so high all over the place is because there are not enough truck drivers. There's not enough truck drivers being able to deliver all the things that need to be delivered around the United States. So if you are interested in an opportunity to become a truck driver, this is the time to do it. If you've ever wanted to look into a career change and thought maybe long distance truck driving or learning how to drive a truck and haul some products, this is the time to do it. The nation needs you. Be patriotic if you have to, if you want to think of it that way. These opportunities are available. Look around in your area, go into the Workforce Investment Act, go to your local WIB, which is Workforce Investment Board in the counties, and ask them if there's any schools in the area to teach you how to drive a tractor trailer. Take those courses and then jump on it. Go to Walmart, and there's tons of opportunities with Walmart, if not Amazon, because those are the largest entities that hire truck drivers and what have you. And then there's independent truck companies all over the United States that help or look to hire individuals to work. So whatever you can do, this could be an opportunity for you. So as we see all these rising prices from food to goods, now to gasoline, we know it's not because we don't have it. It's not running out. We're not going through a drought per se of these products. It's because we can't get them fast enough to you, and we don't have the resources or abilities to be able to deliver all these things nationwide throughout the nation without trucks, without truck drivers. So this is a big shout out to all the truck drivers out there. Big shout out to my cousin Kev. Yo, Bubs, we love you, man. Go out there and make that money. They need you, man. They need you. You are a superhero, not only in the lives of your family members, but everybody around you. Anytime you hauling some stuff, Dante, bro, in Philly, the way y'all doing the driving trucks, God bless you. Allah continue to protect you, man. We need you out there, and just be safe out there. Moving forward, when we're talking a bit about transportation, Did y'all know that we actually have a flying car? There is an inventor, Professor Stephen Klein from Slovakia, had created the first ever flying car. It actually flies. There's a video out there on YouTube that shows us. It flies in dual mode. You can either drive it as a car, regular as a car, and it looks like a speed racer. Like, so we're talking about 1960s Le Mans type of vehicles, big cars. They're like speed racer. That's all I keep making inferences or references to. If I can get a video a little down the line, I'll show you a video to it. But it's dual mode. It's the first time ever. It's able to ride in the air, of course, and on the land. It drives like a regular car. It has a steering wheel and the whole nine. It works on petroleum, gasoline, and it goes pretty far. Top speed flying, it's 115 miles an hour, something like that. So it's an option. So maybe that opportunity to be moving really close for anybody, real ballers out there. You want to fly, boom, you got your own car. Now you can fly or drive, however which way. So the opportunity be coming through. Remember, the name of the company or the person that invented it is Stephen Klein. It's a flying car out of Slovakia. So that's something to look out for. All right, let me saying a big hello to Nilsa Perez. Long time no see. God bless you. My man Mo, how you doing? Wishing you well, and all the babies. I hope everybody's doing good. It's good to see everybody on. God bless you all. Hopefully everyone is safe. It's a beautiful Friday. We just went through a bit of a weather spurt, because we know with all this high pressure coming in from Canada, pushing out the heat, and now, as you see, we're into hurricane season. So you're going to see a lot of moisture and cold air coming from the south. And as it heat pushes from the north, comes down, it catches the coastal wind. There's a potential for all kinds of chaos going on in the climate. So be careful, y'all. We are in hurricane season, which, again, I like to emphasize. Right now, hurricane, let me see if I can remind the name. It is now Elsa. Hurricane Elsa. Elsa is now heading towards Florida, and Florida is potentially, the home of Surfside, where we have the collapse, where people are going through right now, the relief portion, trying to recover what lives and everyone has their hopes up for people to be found even after 9 days of being under the rubble. Surfside, Florida is now facing Hurricane Elsa. As they prepare to deal with that type of temperature, they already have issues with rain already, and now with Elsa coming in, so we're talking about winds that'll be above 100 miles an hour. We have rainfall and stuff like that, so it's going to be extremely hard for everybody down there. So let's keep keeping them in their thoughts, and in their prayers, in our prayers, to make sure that they continue to be safe. And success somewhere will come down the line to give people the comfort that they've been looking for. Let me see if I missed anything. I think I may have covered everything. I may have covered. Okay, cool. Last point I wanted to make for this portion. In addition to, just in case you're not been paying attention, it is the 2nd of July, 2 more days before Independence Day here in the United States. And guess what? There is a fireworks shortage. National fireworks shortage. For anybody who's paying attention, you can't find fireworks. There's fireworks all over South Jersey. Walmart's, corner stores, everywhere. If you guys need fireworks, come and get this stuff over here. Because I tell you, for those of us that live here, it's a pain in the butt. We hear it all times of the day and night, see stuff. And for anybody who has temperamental dogs or cats, it's terror. But we see it all the time. They've been all kinds of Roman candles in the sky, in a city terrorized by gun violence. When you hear all these bangs in the air and they're talking about this fireworks, it doesn't give us a resolve, especially since there's such a high amount of tourism that comes into town in these Airbnbs, and they think it's okay to just shoot off bottle rockets and all kinds of stuff like that in the atmosphere. I'm not a Debbie Downer or a Demetrius Downer. I don't know if that's appropriate, but for Independence Day, this is the best day to shoot off all your fireworks. Prior to, you're just going to be a pain in the ass. You're potentially causing issues. And if you don't have the rights, if it's not something to be festive and regulated and done so in a safe environment, then you're potentially putting people's lives in danger. Remember, fireworks are actually explosives, and it can combust. It can cause fires. So as you're shooting a Roman candle to someplace where it's dry, paper can ignite, grass can ignite, fires can happen, people's lives can be put in jeopardy. So don't be a dumbass because you like the nice, pretty lights and so on and so forth. Be cautious of what you do. Be away from human beings. We're not talking about a block away, half a block away. If you can be 5 blocks away from anyone in your radius, that'd be the safer perimeter. But don't be foolish in doing stuff like that prior to. But until then, 4th of July, enjoy yourselves. Let me take a drink.
Someone in Pennsylvania, police vehicle.
Ooh.
They had,
okay, you can speak a little louder, sir. My associate producer, my wifey, she didn't work tonight, so she's here telling me the information. She said somewhere in Pennsylvania, apparently a police vehicle blew up. Blew up because of fireworks. Exploded fireworks. Somebody shooting fireworks and it blew up. So, woo, that's some shit there.
There was a massive amount of
fireworks in
the police vehicle.
So I guess what it was.
Trying to figure out where they got it, where they came from.
It looks as if the police vehicle may have apprehended some illegal fireworks somewhere, unless the officers were buying fireworks and just transporting it in a service vehicle that way. But apparently fireworks blew up and the vehicle blew up with them. So imagine seeing that in your neighborhood, for those of you who are not friendly to police officers. I don't know. But I'm hoping that no one succumbed to any kind of harm. It's extremely dangerous. I have a friend of mine for many, many years who lost 3 of his fingers. Well, 2.5 of his fingers. And just grabbing an explosive, I think it was an M80, not knowing what it was, whatever the situation, blew some fingers out. We have a lot of individuals who have, a lot of people who have, as children, may have stumbled across something that we thought was a dud and actually exploded and caused major harm to their bodies. And they are walking around with us today, and they're like walking billboards to remind you how dangerous fireworks are. We love the beauty of it, and it's a science. And there's some people out here, some companies are amazing with what they do. The technology used now for fireworks and fire displays and explosives with music and stuff, they do an amazing job. I think one of the companies is the Greco Brothers. I think that's the name of the company. They do an amazing job. And I know in Atlantic City, we benefit from the casino industry with regards to fireworks, because often they throw fireworks to celebrate different things. And on 4th of July, they go all out. Sometimes, I remember a few years, we had competing companies where one side of the Atlantic City had fireworks, and then an hour later, another side, and then the Bay had fireworks. So it was a great day for individuals who are just spectators or residents or little children or seniors that love to look at the fireworks every day. I'm blessed to have the opportunity to live down that has the resources to enjoy fireworks. And every year I sit with my elderly mom and my son and my wife, and we sit amongst the community and see this beautiful array of lights. And just for the few short minutes, it provides us peace. It grants us beauty, grants us a little bit of entertainment and hope. And hopefully 4th of July can be granted for you in that same way. So for any of you out there celebrating Independence Day, America was fought for, and Americans have died for you to have this opportunity to enjoy the independence and all the freedoms and privileges that America and its Constitution provides. It's not perfect. It's still a lot of work to be had. There's so much to do, but it's still home. So July 4th, enjoy yourselves. If you're cooking out, enjoy a burger. Grab a beer, sit back, enjoy your relatives. Spend the time that you can. If you see your mom, grab her real quick, give her a big hug for me. Then hug her for yourself. Then throw another big hug for her. Because if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't all be around. Enjoy her. Remember her, celebrate her. There's a lot of children who are wishing they could hold their moms right now, and let's do it for them. And then I offer my mom to whoever has missed a mom who doesn't have a mom available. Mercedes always ready to give you a hug if need be. She's got a lot of love to share. She's always given me love in abundance, and she's always told me that I need to share that upon the world. So, if you need a hug, Uncle Mo got you. So as we move forward, I hope everybody enjoys the July 4th. Um, and a topic that I want to try to discuss a little bit sometime tonight or in the discussion is the war on drugs. I saw a topic about weed being the solution potentially for this war on drugs. And they highlighted an equity program, social equity program in Chicago, which to me made all the sense in the world. Cannabis has become a focal point of potential in a lot of urban communities in states like my state, my home state in New Jersey. And the potential of the economic value that it can provide urban cities is immense, the potential. But the reality is that legislature was created more so to continue that potential only for those that can afford it. Big business, big dollars, big cannabis, big industries, whoever can afford $1 million application, and not the small entrepreneurs that were once succumbed or blazoned with the different cannabis laws or laws against them for small consumption and or possession of weed. Now it's irrelevant. And so these people who have indulged in weed for so long want to get a chance and opportunity to be part of that economy that weed provides. We know that big business have already created different dispensaries in the state. In Atlantic City, I think we have 2 dispensaries. Smaller entities or smaller partnerships or initiatives have been created hoping to get their chance to partake in the opportunities that distributors provide. And the essence of this is, if at one point in time you had a street side vendor, a drug dealer, by using those terms, someone who sold weed in the community and sold it to anyone. That was illegal at one point in time. And now that cannabis or weed consumption, recreational use is now legal, doing the same thing, it's not looked at in the same framework. So maybe this is a potential for that street side vendor to now become a legitimate business. And then that legitimate business hires more people who may be drug dealers once, and now they can become legitimate business. And in the legitimizing that business can provide funds for the community. It can provide jobs, much more needed jobs. These businesses, as they grow, build. So that's ratables that can go into the municipality or the area that they're located in. It can help in social programs for individuals who are stuck on harder drugs, so they can help in servicing all the human beings and trying to provide support services. A lot of these individuals who are interested into this are looking to be a better part of their community, and big business and big government is in the way. Is this a solution on the war on drugs? It may be. We don't know. But the potential is there. And now that marijuana is now becoming available, there's going to be so many different points of view with this. Myself personally, I don't have a problem with people consuming marijuana. I've just never liked the smell of it myself. That doesn't mean I'm going to look at you any different because you indulge. I just want you, like everything else, to be wise in your indulging. Make sure you don't overindulge. Don't let it be your master. If it's recreational use, you do it on your own. But it's like alcohol and everything else. Whatever you do, let no one else have to pay for your mistakes. Let no one else have to suffer from your overindulgence. So as you enjoy, enjoy. Spark up that spliff, whatever it is that you take, or edibles, or whatever it is. It's your right to. And in many cases, it's medicinal. That's another factor that I'm very supportive of. Marijuana itself, the plant, cannabis, hemp, the different factors, the chemical makeup of it has so many medicinal benefits that people who are ill need. whether it's for cancer, where you've seen reports that suggest that it helps symptoms, it helps to alleviate pain, it helps regrow cells in certain instances. So it's a helpful blessing. There's also other benefits like hemp, the product, the hard material product that the plant produces, that you're able to manufacture into clothing, into other goods, manufacturing. There's so many benefits to the business of weed, marijuana, that we can spark out into the economy itself and help uplift the community by utilizing everything that it offers if we just gave it a chance. But let's keep pushing. Let's be more adamant of being a support system to anyone who's interested to being part of it. And also make sure that you go out and research yourself, because we sometimes we allow the government or big government to get in the way. And we don't see the benefits themselves because they're never going to tell you the benefits. So I'm going to tell you the negative parts. It's like the scare factor. In the very beginning, when COVID-19 came about, every day we were bombarded with elements of fear. Every day we were told that so many people were dying and this was going to come and haunt you down. It was a scary thing, reality. And I admit, in the very, very beginning, I played a certain part too because I wanted to inform people. Try not to push so much the fear aspect, but more so the information. But even that could be overwhelming to the average human being. But fear has a tendency of being a large marketing tool for so many things. Think about how in communities with crime, the benefits that crimes provide is for the police or safety. People sell cameras, people sell defense equipment, surveillance equipment, security equipment, and the personnel. They thrive or depend on crime and violence or the fear of it for them to exist. So that's big business. There's lots of big business. Excuse me. Fear has been a mechanism in even religion where the fear has a tendency of creating dedication and commitment upon the constituents or the followers, have created funding, you know, fear mechanisms. If you don't tie, you don't get blessed. You don't tithe. You don't. You're not part of the church, and we're not protecting you. What have you? Fear has been so much. The attacking of the human psyche. Fear has been heavy. If it wasn't one aspect, another. It's fear. Recently, we saw lots of fear when dealing with elections. President, well, 45. I ain't gonna say president, him, but 45 when he was in office was pushing this big fear about we're going to be taken over by all these aliens that were coming in, these illegal aliens that came in, and he was perpetuating the same sad, fearful story for ongoing over and over again. Still does it to this day, even to the point where he just recently went to the southern border. Get this, amongst him and his entourage that went to the southern border were rioters that went and was part of the attempt to take Washington, D.C., the rioters. Those people who went on and tried to rush the U.S. government. There was one or two members that were there in Washington, D.C., and went to the southern border with 45 to inspect it at this point in time. For those of you Americans out there still believing in this guy, let me give you a little bit of advice. Stop smoking that shit. It's not helpful. 45 is only a threat to himself and America and whole. You continue to listen to his bullshit and listen to the fear, and you're going to be misled. It's the dumb, foolish story of the blind leading the blind. Don't be blind. Don't follow behind this ignorant individual who only cares for himself and the benefits of his ego. And continue to believe that he is the only source of solution for you. If you have a dire need to scream out your bigotry, scream out your fear and your hatred of others, if you have a dire need, you go find some bush someplace find some lost portion of America's beautiful forests. Go find some place and then scream it out there. Stop mechanizing and stop militarizing it by joining hands and going places as if you're going to bully things into fruition. America, we've been bullies too long in too many ways. And Americans are tired of bullies. Try to bully us again, you see what happens. That's all I'm going to tell you. Try to bully us again and see what happens. It's not a threat. Call it a premonition. That sounds good. So the 45 went down there just recently after a lot of conservatives have been interrogating the vice president, Kamala Harris, for not going down to the border for so long. They're looking to basically chip away at the character of our elected officials and our president and vice president every chance they get for every action or inaction they take place. They must be responsible and held responsible for the actions that they do. However, for them to be terrorized and belittled, it's really unfair. It's inhumane. Even in a situation with 45, I didn't belittle him as much as I probably could have, given the theme and the temperature that Americans were going through. And the certain elements that were true. He was and still is the orange ogre. So just do yourselves a favor. Let's see what we can do united and working together as an American people, and stop fighting and stop working against what we have in place because we don't like it. Remember, America means different things to different people. The United States of America, it's a banded amalgamation of different communities, of different groups and different bodies of people coming together under one premise to afford freedom and freedoms and privileges, and provided a constitution or a legal document that's still growing and still living to this day to provide comfort and some supports and some certainties so everyone can enjoy it. But America means different to different people. You know, in here in America, America could reflect, as in so many cases you'll see in different parts of the world, America reflects some of the elements of super wealthy individuals that are careless and inconsiderate of those who are poor. America is a symbol of waste, wasteful people. When there's so much hunger all over the world, we voluntarily throw food away. The portions of food are double the size of everywhere else in the world in some cases. America means different to different people, so we have to be very cognizant of how that reflects upon others. But moving forward, let me introduce my brother Adrian. What's going on, my man?
What's up, Mo?
How are you, man?
Not bad, man. Let me get the camera situation situated.
Yeah. Get the situation situated.
Get the camera situation situated.
Right. The angle. How was your week, man?
Excellent, man. It's always good. What's up with you? What's new with you?
A lot of
Hope
activity.
everyone is well, doing well. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of activity. You saw. It was good to see you at the Unity Parade, man.
Hey, like I said, huh?
You caught people off guard. They were like, "Yo, I never seen him in person in public." I was like, "I can't remember." I was like, "Yeah, you didn't? You didn't? Okay." It took me a second. When you turned around, and I turned around and saw you, I was like, "Adrian, what's up, man?" I was like, "Okay." My wife was like, "Oh my God, that's Adrian!" Like, you know, you're this symbol. You're this image. You're like the Wizard of Oz. The wizard's here. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I pop up at too many places, so you know it's good to see people when I get out. You know, definitely. You know, I don't brace myself with everyone's function. Right, you know, and you know, I mean, it's a good thing, it's a bad thing. So I don't know. It's just one of those things, you know.
Yeah. Well, I guess it goes to show it's one of those type of things you can't complain about it unless you try it, and then people can't say, "Well, we never see you" if they don't. You pop up and like
Exactly.
boom, you saw me. Okay.
Well, back in the day, when I was in high school, I was accused of being places where I weren't. So as a matter, so it's just it goes back to my high school years.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I just had a conversation with one of my oldest friends on the planet. Right, he's celebrating his 51st birthday.
Mhm.
It was just yesterday. I just had a chance to call him today, and we were talking about that jokingly in a different situation where, we play anonymous. I told him, when you go out there and you're enjoying yourself, just be careful that you got to remember who you
Associate.
so exactly who you've been associated with in the past. You run into somebody
Yeah.
and they recollect everything, to the T, and you're like, wasn't me. Yeah, but
Exactly.
wasn't me. Sorry, it wasn't me. The older you get the blame age. I'm like, nah. Some situations you got to be very careful.
Yeah. See, when you get a little older, you have to be very cognizant of where you are and the people that you surround yourself with, because you become much more of a target in many ways, but lose.
Yeah.
So you definitely have to be cognizant, because the popo knows how to track you even better with your cell phone and the whole 9 yards. So you have to be very cognizant of who you surround yourself with.
Absolutely. And just talking about
Don't go to any and everybody's barbecue. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Look at what happened at that barbecue with that mass shooting. You know what I mean? Imagine the people who missed that barbecue that day.
Yeah, it was a graduation / birthday party over in South Jersey. What was that? Not Mays Landing, out in
Was it Washington Township somewhere up there?
Bridgeton in Salem.
Yeah, it was Brisbane, correct. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, it's a trip. Like, you can't go to everybody cookout.
No, not every celebration is a celebration.
You can't all celebrate the same way. It's true.
Yeah.
I say this to my son all the time. I said, people are having fun and you're doing this, but you can't be everywhere. You never know what's going to happen. Shit just pops off that you didn't think about. You just might be in the party or at the cookout and you guys are having a good time, and something across the street pop off, and it can affect you or impede your life in situations.
Be in the wrong place at the wrong time is what they call it. So try to be cognizant of where you are.
Oh, big time. And in the age of guns, and people celebrating 4th of July, want to pull out guns. It's the scariest atmosphere.
Hey Mo, they have more guns than they have coins in the store. What more bullets than there are coins in the store. You go to like Dollar General, they're like only credit cards, only no cash. They have more bullets out there than they have coins.
There's somebody sitting somewhere in the world with all these pennies talking about mine, oh mine, just stockpiling all these damn coins.
I saw someone actually did an entire floor in their house with nothing but pennies.
I saw that. That's actually a pretty fly technique, and it's helpful. Outside of it,
it's time consuming. You gotta have a hell of a lot of time on your hand.
It's very time consuming, but it has a really nice appeal.
It's a nice look.
It gives you structural support. It helps with sound deadening, and because of how copper, it's also conducive to electricity. So you put it in the wrong spot, it'll light up your life in a big thing.
So when it starts lightning and thunder, the whole 9 yards, where the hell are you gonna run?
All of a sudden, you got a dog like mine, and all of a sudden he ends up being fried. Like, what happened? The floor.
Yeah, just because you was calling them, to feed them and stuff, you end up getting fried like bacon.
Oh, big time! That shit is crazy, man. I've seen some interesting work when it comes to pennies and stuff like that. I saw someone just recently. I saw a video where someone was taking coins and doing artwork with it, really nice artwork. But I keep saying the same thing, just like you said. It takes a long damn time to do a lot of this stuff. People got a lot of time on their hands to do so, man. Check it out. Look who we got up in the house.
Good afternoon.
What's
going on?
What they got you up for suspension or what?
No, I was down there. Y'all refused to come see me.
No.
What you got, mice in your pockets or your Frenchie?
He hit us up saying he was here. but I didn't
Yeah.
get a chance to communicate with you because you was at the Black Excellence Expo.
Yes, I
No,
was.
no. When you
Yeah.
say we, whose we did you classify as?
Mr. Hudgens,
You
Mr.
know, no
Hudgens, you're included in
individual.
we. Mr. Hudgens, you're included in we.
He
All
was
right.
on the show.
When you
I'm not
contact
talking
Joe, you say
French.
we. Sometimes we don't communicate during the weekdays. You know what I'm saying? So we
Yo,
gotta get
I don't know
ourselves
why we don't
together.
say nothing.
It's,
I text him. My text go unanswered.
Yeah,
I feel
you
like the
know,
side chick sometimes.
you know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? You have to do like what Mark Rassman did. I sent him a text on, earlier on Messenger, and he's like, "Here goes my cell phone number." That's what you doing. So I can't have an excuse when it comes to you, bro.
I hear you.
No,
I hear you. How y'all doing?
we all right, brother.
Excellent, man.
How was
Nice to see
Expo,
you.
man? I heard it was pretty good. There was a lot of good in it.
It was pretty good. I'm my only problem with it is since it was family friendly, they could have done some marketing to the churches in the area because I felt that a lot of people that were local didn't know about it.
Left out, yes, absolutely.
That's what I felt. I felt, and I will talk to Nate about that because he had enough time to go to all the churches in the near area to actually make a personal visit and get his stuff out because
Right.
it doesn't make sense that being and this. I know this was planned before Juneteenth became in effect,
Yeah, about a
but
week.
they could have used it. They could have followed up with, "Oh, this is also Juneteenth celebration type thing," because it
Right.
was actually nice. It was actually nice.
Okay. I believe it. I mean, I heard bits and pieces of the expo itself and different people's opinions here and there for
Hmm.
those that were go. I got really caught up. I was cornered by a lot of the issues that we were facing in the city, from the gun
Hmm.
violence, from a
Right,
lot
right.
of that. So I didn't feel good, man, at all. I was just lost. And then some elders that are on their deathbed. It just
Mm,
hitting me all over the place.
I hear you.
So I just it was hard for me to find a reason to
To come out, I
be in
got you.
celebratory mode.
Hmm.
But
But
I heard it was really well done. I heard some of the speakers were really powerful. So I'm glad
hmm
that you represent, man. So if you,
absolutely.
when you see Nate, tell him good job, man. But we got to do better to try to at least schedule it to make it easier for locals to be there, be
Right,
aware.
right.
Half of the thing I think is the problem, and I think Adrian can chime in also, is that a lot of companies may come in and assume that we naturally promote a lot of the things that are coming to town to one another, and we don't. And we don't
Hmm.
have the avenue to be able to promote because we don't have the support, the media support that other larger markets do.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
you can
Because my
go
thought
ahead.
was one of the things, because I don't know if you guys got a public access channel, because I don't know what type of money they had, but they could have done something on public access that may have got around to people.
Hmm.
And, I know he did a couple of people's podcasts and whatnot, but
Okay.
I think it could have been marketed a little bit closer to where
Think
it
about it,
was.
Mo. Your wife actually, when I was in Atlantic City last Saturday, your wife and I was talking about public, just like Sandy said, public access TV and radio stations or whatever,
Hmm.
because it's a serious scarcity in this area when it
Right.
comes
Okay.
to public access TV. And which is sad because a lot of people are in the blind, not knowing what's going on. A
Right.
lot of
Hmm.
people go to YouTube for their news, not YouTube, but Facebook for their news, or
Right.
Twitter,
Right.
and that's not always a reliable source,
Right.
But
because
even 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 with that, I think that you need to always get out and touch people.
Hmm.
So
well,
15
it's hard to
minutes at
touch
a
people during
church,
COVID.
saying, 15 minutes at a church, could give you more people than sometimes going on Facebook. Since it was a
Correct.
family thing, it wasn't like it was a big, it wasn't a strip-a-thon or nothing. It was, family friendly actually. It was pretty cool.
Right. Right.
Yeah, well,
Hmm.
some people are still, a little bit squeamish when it comes down to get on to the general public. Everybody's easing their way back out
Well,
again.
well, here's a question, because
Hmm.
okay, the Black Excellence Festival was that week, right?
Hmm.
The next week there was a weed convention. I don't know if it was at Tropicana or Showboat. Does anybody
Tropicana.
know about the attendance to that?
Yeah, I heard about it today. know, I believe it was at Tropicana. You know, if I'm not mistaken. You know, I believe that's an annual thing because I remember years ago they had it at Harris and some of these other places.
Okay.
You know, so they move around. So it's definitely, you know, a convention that they do have, the cannabis convention.
Right. But what was the response like? That's what I'm curious.
Minimal. Locally, it's minimal. They don't market to local.
Okay.
Stuff like that. You know, oddly enough, when it comes, and I call it developmental programming, where businesses, the potential of how to set up businesses, how to create wealth, that's not necessarily supported at a local level the way you would think. One is because casinos, the entity, always think that because they provide the facility, it's the promoter's responsibility to do so, which since it is. But it's also because there's no other investment from the community or no other investment by the leaders of the community to feel like they have to carry that message alone. Like they're not invested in. There's no real investment, no human investment. And so you see a lack of that. Like you said, when Nate should have come by and visited some some churches, it would have helped, man. You could have really had some engagement. Right. And engagement is necessary when you come out human development. And that type of a development is necessary. Remember, this town, and I think there's an assumption always by people from out of town. They think we got our shit together in Atlantic City. And the truth is, we don't, like everyone else. We're struggling. You don't see the amount of support systems the way we could. You don't see positivity and unity is lacking so much. And my brother Torres is about to come in now, can attest to that. We talk about lack of unity and stuff like that. So we don't necessarily promote stuff like that, you know, and to the general populace, it seems like it's a square thing to do. You know, it's corny. It's you know, it's not fun, you know, to go through something like that. And it's really sad because it shows. Good evening, brother Torres. How are you, man?
There he is, Mr. Mayfield.
What's happening? Where y'all afros and y'all pictures at? Come on now. Let's put it on talking.
Nobody freezing now.
Okay.
Adrian's cousins ain't messing with us today. Adrian, we got a pass today?
I think they're good. I think they're better. I've never heard of them in a little while, but we think we're better. We think they're better.
All right. Yeah, y'all was talking about the buzz fest that went on down at Showboat.
Oh, the Showboat.
Yes, they had a nice, good attendance there and everything else. And I did partake in, you know, watching the wrestlings. They ate some edibles. If you go on my Facebook page, you'll see how they was slow-mo fighting and everything else because of the edibles. Then they started fighting and everything else.
It always jumps off.
I was trying to get down there. I had to work. I was trying to get down. I was like, if I had like 8 hours, because see, I got like 3 jobs now. So I got and I said I had like 8 hours. I was like, I could run down there, check this out, and come on back real quick. But I was like, man, I got to go to work after that. It could be problems.
Hey, Sandy, you're officially a Trinidadian now. You can't, with 2 jobs, you're only Jamaican. At 3 jobs, you're Trinidadian, okay?
Well, look, I'm going to give me some doubles and some shot. I'm going to be good.
You put some quads in there, you'll be all right.
You know, hey, Sandy, if you get one more job, then you become Mexican. I remember that, Bill.
I'm going to be Mexican in a minute, yo.
Y'all are wrong. Y'all are wrong. Not necessarily the others of the show, but
I can talk about it. I'm Trinidadian.
That's right. That's right, Mo. That's right, Mo. Separate yourself from this quick.
I'm Trinidadian. I can talk shit.
I'm gonna get flamed up later. Watch.
I know, right? Hey, and Mo, congratulations.
What's that for, bro?
You threw your hat in, no?
Yeah, I'm gonna run.
All right.
Hey, Sandy,
I might move down to Atlantic City just so I can vote for you.
Hey, Sandy, that's the reason why he doesn't have a hat on his head right now, because he already threw it in the ring.
Exactly. Okay.
That's how I found out.
All right.
Because you have a hat on. Every time we come on here, you got a hat on. You threw it in the ring, kid.
That shit is in there. And to have an official person around the ring, that's Torres in there. He's an official. Official ring sports, you know.
All right.
It's
so look, when's the kickoff party?
The kickoff party? Shit.
Yeah.
We got too much work to party. We'll party after. Good.
Oh, now we gotta have the. We can't go from the kickoff. We going from the kickoff to the winning celebration. I hear you.
We're gonna put some work by a bag sandwich and a drink, and I'll meet you at the end of the street after we're done.
Yo, Sandy wants to party before you get to the starting block. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I said.
He's one of those Olympians that want to party before you get to the starting block.
See, that's dirty. Yeah, wait. Let's back up. Let's talk about her for a minute.
What's that?
My girl, this fastest chick out.
I know. Go for it.
Smoke the joint.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the real problem with this whole thing is because she said it was because of the pain that the dude told her about her mother dying. Right. I thought that was really insensitive for this girl to have problems with her mother because she was in foster care. To have problems with her mother and use in a public forum to come in front of her and tell her that news that she didn't even know and try to act like she's supposed to be okay with it. That's dirty. That is dirty.
Yeah.
Well, see, if you look at it, they went to her because so remember, Bill Cosby just got released.
Right.
So they turn around and gotta find another, as we say, a black story or something to go with, and everything to kind of overshadow what's going on.
Right.
And everything else. And Sandy, I just want to say I never met you before, and everything is good to meet you and all and everything. But I don't like them, Mo and Adrian acting like you the uncle that comes to the barbecue after everything is already done and stuff like that, wanting to party before everything gets done. But that's okay.
Well, look, me and you obviously have something in common because I wanted to be down there last week, so we'll have our own party. And we'll bring our own edibles, and they'll be wanting to come see us. Mo be on the door. Can I come in?
No edibles, no smoking, no smoking.
Y'all know I'm at the grill cooking up the fine foods, the fine eats. Y'all know how it gets down.
Yo, but and if you you should have came to that thing because now they got THC infused spices and THC infused things. It's a new thing, man. You got to get you complain about back pain, right? So all you got to do is sprinkle some pepper on your joint with the little gin, and you'll be fine.
Hey, Sandy, he just spice up that Spanish food of his. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You make Spanish food really Spanish. That's what it is.
Some herbs and spices.
Exactly.
We were talking earlier about the supporting of the cannabis industry. Can you tell there's a lot of support here?
Look, I heard KFC is going to move from 13 herbs and spices to 14 herbs and spices.
So you had KFC with THC.
Exactly. There you go.
But see, if you go back to the day on Mo's behalf back in the day, remember the Spanish fly they used to put out and move around and everything else?
Right.
Okay.
See, that's what got Bill Cosby in trouble. That same conversation.
Yo, Sandy. But you got to remember, also with McDonald's, that veggie burger and Burger King, where do you think those herbs came from?
They said it's an impossible burger.
But you want to hear something funny? Bill Cosby and Spanish Fly, right? Do you remember you could buy that in the back of a daggone comic book? And if you had so many points, you could get it for free. And they actually going to send this man to jail for something talking about Spanish Fly.
Sandy, you have to remember, this is OJ 2.0 now. You remember
right,
that?
Right.
2.0. That's exactly what I wrote online. It's an OJ 2.0, but this time it's not with a weapon. It's with drugs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He did all these women with drugs. No weapon.
Did you hear all the other details that made this an incredible situation? How the hell did he have an agreement with the prosecutor saying if something went wrong, you can't prosecute me ever in the future? I'm like, who the hell does that? Bill Cosby got long-term money and was able to
right.
Nobody else did that. Nobody. Uncle Bill.
Nobody else thought that far.
But you have to remember who got him off though. His attorney is Trump's attorney from the impeachment. That's who Bill Cosby attorney is that got him off.
Man. Here we go.
Well, so you saying
you be all right too.
So you say Bill Cosby had white privilege?
Yeah, that Jello pudding pops.
Yeah,
Bill Cosby had green privilege.
Yo, you want me to tell you something?
No, he had
Sammy,
long
you,
money.
you let me know when Barack Obama shows up on $100 bill, and I'll tell you then. You know what I'm saying?
You know what, Africa?
Bill Cosby was about to buy NBC Universal. That's
Right.
long money.
Right.
That's
Now
really
it's
long
probably
money.
him. You know, you have larger companies. I think only people like Jeff Bezos and stuff like that have the type of
Right.
access. You know, most of the time it's larger companies that buy these companies. No, it was
Right. Not one person.
one
Yeah.
person. I'm
Bill
gonna buy
Cosby,
this.
and he didn't need nobody else's money. But that's a problem.
Why would he?
That's a problem. It wasn't like a conglomerate of 10 people. It was like Bill said he wanted to do X, Y, and Z.
Hell yeah,
I got
he
you.
was about to do it before he got his ass locked up.
Right.
You
All I
know,
kept
but the
saying
thing
is
about
like,
it is, when those women up there got up there and settled, then they decided to try to bring criminal charges. If you settle a case with this particular individual for money, and then you try to bring them on criminal charges, in my book, that's prostitution. Because the bottom line is that, you know, you got paid for money for your action. You know, then you try to flip it over
Right.
to criminal. No, you're out of the equation. You're totally
What
out
happened
of
was
the
you had 60 fucking groupies that didn't
equation.
want to be known as groupies and got scared. They realized their husbands now, and they worried about what's going to come out about this Bill Cosby thing. So I'm gonna make it look like I'm the victim. That's what that
But you
was.
know,
Because
but
I
Sammy,
can't
also,
imagine that the most popular man in the world that could have anybody he wanted to had to go give him a drug that wasn't a date rape drug. It wasn't something that's going to make you out of your mind. It was something that they was using to get high, similar to
yeah.
marijuana at the time. So why all of a sudden he's a rapist now? Because he was having sex with groupies who was willing to do it? Oh,
But
because I guess they upstanding now.
yeah, all of a sudden their morals have changed. You know, their moral
Right.
compass have changed.
you
But
know
you
what?
also have to remember, because back in the day, Bill Cosby used to hang out with Hugh Hefner in the
Right.
grotto.
Hell
You know
yeah.
what I'm
Right.
saying? So how many of these women also work for Hugh Hefner that's coming up out of the
Right.
woodworks? You see what I'm saying? Because he knows he used to hang out, you know, at the Playboy Bunny Ranch. So did a whole
Right.
lot more of these guys.
Shit,
You know, Rob Lowe
Right.
and all of these guys.
here's the worst thing. Right after his release, I saw a picture that somebody put up, and I don't know if it was Reuters, with him and Epstein. I'm like,
Wow.
with him. I'm like,
Yeah.
how the hell do you put him into that type of pile? It's really sad, man.
Mo, they ran in the same circle. A lot of
Yep.
these guys back in
Right.
the
When you
day
get that
ran in
much
the
money,
same
there's
circle.
only a small. You get that much money, the circle gets smaller.
Yeah, it does. But you got
Yeah.
a lot of members. You have a lot of
Yep.
members.
Yep. A lot of
You have
members
small
try to
circles,
hide
but
their
a lot of
membership.
members. Yeah.
They try to
Because
hide
look
their
at Weinstein. Weinstein probably ran in that same damn circle also.
oh,
Right.
But they just haven't connected them.
But you know what's sad? I looked at all this stuff and I kept thinking, I said, all right, the justice system, it is whatever it is. Bill beat the justice system. It is what it is. No question whatsoever. The biggest issue I have with all this stuff is that all the women who actually were raped, now I ain't talking about Bill, but
Right.
people who were raped and saw this as some sort of time to exhale and saw this opportunity to feel some sort of relief, now they have to feel that type of, feeling, that depression again because it was untrue. So then that
Right.
person screaming rape before who was raped, now you're going to have assholes out. Well, you probably weren't raped either. And I feel
Right.
really bad about that concept. He beat the system. That's cool. He did what he had to do. He beat the system. That's how the system is set up. I'm not here to judge whether he did it or he didn't do it. That's between his God and the people who are
Right.
blaming
Right.
him. You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking at everyone else, how this was a huge movement. The Me Too movement jumped on this shit huge. And how many people were really raped. And now with this situation, you got assholes freely looking at them like, see, I knew you was hard. Making it personal. That's really unfair, man, to them.
You know, but also, Mo, you also have to look at the attorneys also, because look at the ones who's representing a lot of these women. Gloria Allred. She's notorious. She's a notorious lawyer for, she's a shock in the water.
For making people victims. Yes.
Yep.
Correct.
And I'm not saying that some of them aren't victims, but she'll make you a victim.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the industry, the legal industry is foul as hell, but it's so needed in so many instances.
Mm-hmm.
It would make a rapist killer seem like a preacher, or that it could be equal. You know what I'm saying? Somebody so clean, or somebody really an innocent person, the victim, if they can't afford defense, and it's a shame.
Yeah, it is. Money talks. Money has a voice of its own. You can put a stack of hundreds on the table, and then you see the money start talking to a lot of people. Pick me up, pick me
Yep.
up. You know you wanted someone.
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
That's the voice of its own.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened. It's sad, but the judicial system is not equal justice under law. It's money under law. Basically, that's what it is. It's how much money you want. If you don't have enough money, you get a public defender. But if you have a lot of money, you
Right.
get down to the attorney.
Yep.
Right.
Big difference in the
I, I'm
field
go-
that they're defended.
I'm going to say something I probably shouldn't say,
Uh-oh, watch out.
but I was really upset that the chick that actually Constantine, whatever her name is,
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
constant.
didn't find her very attractive. That
I
you
know.
know
And she says,
that the $1 million dude would that's who this who I'm gonna catch right there. This who I'm gonna get right now, and then I have to pay $1 million for it. I'm not really feeling that one.
I
I'm
like to see
sorry.
my picture from yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I'm a believer. I want
Man,
to see
you know
her
what?
I'm
picture from
sorry.
yesterday.
Not to relive that whole case, but think about it. In those days, drugs were part of the normal atmosphere,
Right.
And the drug that of choice at that point in time was something that would really be
Lose.
right now. Lose, exactly. So they're all popping loose, sitting back, chilling, and all of a sudden they start grinding, they bumping uglies here. And then a
Right.
year later, like, hold up, he raped me. He did this. No, you voluntarily
Right.
got
No, he
yourself.
raped me because he didn't get me the dime he said he was gonna give me. He ain't pass off no cash. Oh, so this is how I'm gonna get him back. Similar Tupac move.
Yeah.
Now, the sad part is these dudes ain't learning even up to now.
Yeah.
Because the same chicks, the same types of chicks are doing the same type of crap.
Yeah.
That's the
Groupie.
sad part.
That's
You
a
know,
mental health issue, being a groupie.
they said, you know, people don't change. Time changes. You know what I'm saying? That's the bottom line. You know, back then you might be doing one thing, then all of a sudden you have a conscience comes into play, and it says, "Oh man, that
Right.
didn't seem right. What was going on back then? So let me see if I can hash it back up."
Yeah. It's sad.
All right, dudes.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to leave y'all for like 45 minutes to do the rest of these meds, but I'm gonna try to get back.
Do what you gotta do. You know.
But I had to show my face because I felt like I missed you guys. My brothers,
We
even though
this.
y'all abandoned me last week, y'all missed you guys.
He has the control. Next time, text me next time. Then you'll see
He
my
wasn't
face.
worrying about nobody. He was having a good time. That boy, he'd be all right.
I really was. Look, and here's the real problem. I was going to give y'all some on-site issues, like from being there,
Okay.
but I had a couple drinks, and I was like, this it's probably not going to be a good look.
Hopefully, we won't be seeing your ass on the news or anything.
I said I was going to be a roving reporter, but I was like, this could be problems. I said my man wants to be the mayor. I'll stay out of this one.
Adrian and I just talking about that. This the age of wasn't me. Wasn't me.
But all right, I'm gonna hit y'all in a little bit.
All right.
All right, see you later, Mr. What's his last name?
So is Mayfield.
Mr. Mayfield.
Mayfield.
It's good to meet you, and I will be back.
We call him Mr. T.
Now it's time for me to turn it up now.
There we go.
Okay, he lives in Atlantic City too?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
When did you graduate high school, if you don't mind me asking?
He might watch. Here we go. Here go the connection.
Huh? When did he graduate high school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did he graduate?
What year?
Let me see. I don't know you that well to tell you anything about me. You might try to find something out about me. And
No, I don't have to find out. I'm curious.
Tell him who you're related to here.
84.
He graduated
84?
with my younger brother, 84.
Oh, so he graduated with Troy Washington. Nina Washington's brother.
Who?
Troy Washington. Nina. He lived in Bungalow Park on No, I forgot what street he lived on. He lived right across from the bay.
Probably.
You know Nina Washington?
I know of the name.
Yeah, I know Nina. But Nina was in the class of 83, if I'm not mistaken.
83, right? I graduated with Nina.
Correct. Yeah,
right.
I graduated in 82.
I'm Melinda Brown's cousin. You know Melinda Brown?
Yeah.
That's my cousin.
Okay.
See?
Related to
a lot more. I'm saying I've been down there a lot longer than y'all think. But I'll get back with y'all.
It's just you been scared.
All right, we'll talk.
Pleasure
All right.
to meet you.
Peace.
All right.
So, Yeah, Sandy's got a lot of relations, man. Every time we talk, he starts talking this person, that person, and Trini comes out of nowhere. Yeah, this person, that person. You know, they link up and they get people's family trees without even wanting. They give you a whole connection.
Like I said, a lot of people in Atlantic City is connected one way or another, man. We all went to high school, junior high school, and the whole 9 yards. So we're all connected.
Like, I didn't know you was related to the family that was there earlier, the Bakers.
Yeah. My sister married one of the Bakers, and they became part. You know, so yeah.
I was like, okay.
Bakers, the Andersons, yeah, Charlie the Baker. You know,
Charlie Craig,
Baker,
Kier,
Kier, Craig, they're my nephews.
Yep, see,
Kier and Craig is my nephews. Yeah.
Everybody knows Uncle Adrian. Everybody.
Yeah, that's what I say. I'm my uncle many times over. And then Gina, that was on here, got married to Kier, which there it is again. Gina, yeah.
But to bring up a little bit, y'all probably already heard about the guy that hung himself down there at Oscar McClinton Park.
McClinton Park. Yeah, we was going to talk a little down the line. Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation. It was a young man that was found hung. We don't know if it was homicide, if it was a suicide.
Right.
He was found in the park in McClinton Park, broad daylight, hanging.
See, now this is the thing. Now, no cameras around there. Nobody knows what's going on. Nobody was happening and everything else. Now, you got to think, you know, this is just me. You go up there, you know, you ain't throw no rope around or whatever. You know, it had to be tied to something up there and maybe he's set or whatever. I'm just speculating. But anybody that do that, you're going to have brush burns from that rope if you drop down, you know. You're going to have brush burns that can tell on your neck.
Correct.
So it's just crazy with everything that's going on and the violence that's happening here in the city and everything else. Majority, we can't worry about the outsiders because it's not the outsiders that live here and everything else and stuff, but the outsiders are the one that's coming in creating.
Correct.
That's what's going on. You know, you try to turn around. You can't look at law enforcement. You can't look at the politicians. It has to be the community to come back as a whole and come to the table and everything else and start addressing it from within because everybody that's coming from without, they're the ones that's creating.
Right.
See?
Right. Just last week, some of the mothers came together at that same park, McClinton Park, on Friday.
Yeah, I was up there.
Did you get a chance to talk to them?
Yeah, I went up. I drove by up there in the seawall up there. It was a gathering up there last week Saturday when your event was going on in the middle of the city. Yep,
and it was the intent was mothers getting together, whoever wanted to care to do stuff. I told them basically, I said, if you keep all the politicians out of it, you might keep it taint free, so you can try to put it together and then deliver the message to the people who are supposed to deliver the message to, which would be leadership or the politicians that way. But I didn't hear the report about what it was, but my understanding is it was well attended. It wasn't hundreds of people there, but it was a significant amount of people that cared about finding some solutions. So I know in talking with one of them, some of the things that they were talking about, possible solutions would be like a lot of games. They were like youth-oriented solutions, like creating kickball games and interactions between community events, after school tutoring programs. And I was like, these are great programs to have. We can always kick them out. Let's just do them. It's just, unfortunately, the people who are placing themselves at risk, who have succumbed to the violence, are a lot older. We're talking about teenagers that are about between 15, even the youngest recently was 12, but from 15 to 26, that is the block where you see a lot of interaction. Before that, they're still fairly young. We're able to save them, but it's the 15 to 26 is the hard one.
Yeah. Now, if you know where Oceanside Charter School used to be here in the city, right? They got that big land back there and everything else and stuff.
CRDA owned, right?
They not doing nothing with that. So why not turn around, fix it up, okay? Put a where you can have a chess park right there. This is just me, a chess park there, okay? And if you're going to do something, you can have it right in there, but people from the community has to also maintain it. You set up a chess park. You can go in there and have some open discussions and everything within the community. Because really, where you going to go here in the city and talk about it? How are you going to bring everybody to the table? A lot of people are hurting and suffering in this city and everything else. And once again, like I said, these outsiders, that's, politicians and, even some that's here now, they don't care. They don't care.
Right.
So it's up to us to come together in the community to get these young men. You could just start by showing them how to tie a tie. A lot of them don't even know how to tie a tie.
Mm-hmm.
That's an open conversation right there. They have to have an outlet where they can go ahead and talk and, without being judged.
Absolutely.
Because I know how it feels to lose someone. As you know, I had my brother that was killed and everything, and it still bothers.
Yeah.
But see, where is the outlet for that? Like I said, the ones that it just, hear about it, and I'm not keep it real. Those same people that know what's going on and that's happening in the community, is the same one that's coming to the families, the moms, and everybody else. That's my man, that's my boy, that's my girl. They know what happened, but yet and still they don't say nothing. They don't. So the whole thing about it is the same ones laughing up in the face and joking and everything. You see them during that time, then after that, you don't see them more. I've been through it. I know it.
Yeah.
But until you had, like I said, put a soapbox out in the middle, have people come out without no judge, no politicians, nothing, let them express themselves. Mm-hmm. That's where you start getting solutions and seeing how we can come together as a community, not from the outsiders. Mm-hmm. Not, and I'll put it out, not from the mayor, not from council, nobody. Let's be human. Mm-hmm. We don't need no holier than thou, fellowship of messes and all that to come involved and all this and that. If they're not doing nothing now, what make you think they're going to do something then? Mm-hmm. They're supposed to be the spiritual leaders of the city and everything else, but a lot of them, turning around and everything else and stuff, what are they doing? Nothing. It's going to take people from the community, open dialogue, okay? And later on, if you want to have the police involved or whatever, but we have to start with us first within the community. Mm-hmm. Like I said, now Jeff saying we don't need a new one. You make the opportunity, you put it there, you bring it out so we can do it and everything else. Mm-hmm. If you have one, let's put it together. Saying you don't need a new one, but they're not available for us to use.
Yeah, we don't have, exactly. I agree with you. We need better access. And then the type of parks that we have should be a lot more, there should be more options to the park itself. And then sometimes because we don't have those resources and haven't had it for a long period of time, it wouldn't hurt for us to have some sort of tutelage or guides or people that work there specifically to help and probably facilitate some things like the chess games. You have somebody come out with the chess pieces. It can be it'd be fly as hell if we had a park that had a really life-size chess board and you have people learning how to play chess with these large, like 4 foot tall chess pieces. It'd be kind of cool. It'd be something different. You know what I mean? Atlantic City is known for being what? Monopoly board, right? So why not create a life-size Monopoly board someplace and have people integrate and work into those atmospheres and try to integrate a whole system to teach kids about the different elements a Monopoly board does have and integrate it while they're having fun. It could be a whole teaching process, a marketing tool, and a community development portion of it. It's a good idea. I think any idea that hasn't been tried is a good idea. And then sometimes we revisit the ideas that were once was and try to tweak them because not everything was perfect. No one's perfect, but everybody, it's like everybody got an asshole. So everybody's got an opinion. So that's okay. Some opinions may actually be really good. Some of them are just opinions. And that's cool. We all deserve to be listened to.
All right. Now, I don't recall where he said the park was and everything else.
I'm not certain where either.
Okay. But like I said, we can have parks all across the city. Look at the one at Oscar McClinton Park. That one's already tore up. Yeah. I posted pictures of how it looked and everything else.
Yeah.
It's already tore up. But like I said, one in the community to have in the community where we turn around and we operate it. And I pick chess and I say, because it teaches you how to strategize, it teaches you to think. It's just like doing a crossword puzzle, how you learn how to read and spell and everything else. That's why I said that what I said. But once again, we don't need no superstars. We don't need no celebrities, nobody. It has to be people from the community.
Right.
And
Okay, he's talking about Browns Park. That's what he's talking about. Browns Park.
well, okay, Browns Park could be good too. But also now they need to get Browns Park cleaned up again because they back in there shooting up, having sex, doing drugs. I went past there today. They're sleeping out there.
Yep.
See, once they open up their access, I mean, it's right there. It, like I said, we can have good dialogue out there.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, hopefully we don't need no permit to do it and go through all the red tape and stuff because we're trying to do something betterment for the community. I already done spoke to like 3 people who's ready to get down and let's do it.
Yeah.
But like I said, it has to be Atlantic City. People that's from Atlantic City that knows Atlantic City.
We have to own more of what we have. You know what I mean? And we've been doing it. Torres, you know how we work. We work in the communities, cleaning parks and everything just because we own it. You know, so it's ours. So we got to take care of it. How do we use those, whatever we have, the resources that we have, which is human resources, right? How do we better utilize them to help develop communities and unity in the community?
But the fence they got, I'm telling Jeff, is open now. It's open. They put the fence up, but it's all open. They over there shooting up drugs, sleeping, laying over there, doing everything like they used to do before.
Yeah.
I just came from past there about an hour ago. They sitting in the back doing the same thing.
Yep.
You know,
it's
open.
Unmonitored. It's unmonitored. It's a lot. It's like a lot of our playgrounds and parks are unmonitored. They're unwatched. And that's a shame because we have some beautiful, resources. We have some beautiful parks, and those places, thank you, have opportunities to really, blossom. Like Uptown, right next to Uptown School, it's a huge recreation facility. Chelsea Heights, across from the small Chelsea Heights Village, that's a huge recreation facility. Does it have everything? No, but it's huge. And if we utilized it more, we might have it shows a demand. You know what I mean? If we utilized it more, like they talked about the basketball tournament that recently took place at Bader Field. One of the options, like, why didn't you take it uptown? You probably could have had a larger presence of the community there supporting it on a playground that's set up with the lights and all that stuff. It probably could have been a really cool ass atmosphere.
Yeah.
There if you chose that. But I don't know why they chose Bader Field to do so. But whatever the situation is, that's an entity, a nonprofit entity that wanted to do whatever they did. But if we use our parks and playgrounds more and pay better attention to care for it, could it be a resource for community to unite? I don't know.
Adrian? I'm taking it all in. I mean,
I'm absorbing.
You from the city, you got family. I mean, interest. You have interest in the city also.
Yeah, that's the reason why, because I'm thinking, most said something of importance. Why didn't they have it at Uptown Complex rather than having it in Beta Field? Because even though Beta Field is Atlantic City still, but it's not in the Atlantic City communities such as, Uptown Complex. That's more outside of Atlantic City with Beta Field than being in Atlantic City as Uptown Complex is. And just like you said, you could have had a very good turnout there, because I've been there 1,000,001 times.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm like thinking. And you have very important point there.
Yeah.
Why didn't they? But somebody had to approve this. For them to actually get Beta Field, someone had to approve it. So then it goes back to the approval method. Did they actually say, well, hey, look, we have other facilities here that you could actually use rather than this one. I know you want this one, but this one would be much more of a community activity to involve, way more members of the community rather than just having it all the way out here over the bridge and out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically that's what it really was. It was over the bridge and out of the way. So you have to, if you want to go to, you have to hop on a jitney or a bus to get out there.
Yeah.
If you wanted to rather than walking around the corner from your crib or something at the Uptown Complex.
Right. Jeff had mentioned a local place. His brother, Stephen Head. He was inspired to create a memorial garden. It's really pretty. Back Maryland off the 800 block, off of Virginia Avenue. In a lot, he converted the lot into like a memorial setting. Beautiful plants, lights, and everything. He did everything himself. He did what he could to reach out to everyone, including myself, to get the help that he needed, and he found the help. Whichever way possible, he found the help and got it done. And he created this thing that he calls Mo's Garden, Mo's Memorial Garden. And it's real pretty. So if any chance you get it, it's the grand opening or the soft welcoming into the community will be July 4th. It'll be 4th
Where's
July.
this from? Where's
It's off Virginia Avenue at the end at the 800. When it goes from Virginia Avenue into Brigantine Homes, it's right on the right-hand side.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, right there is where the park is called Mo's Garden. It's very, very pretty, man. It's heartfelt. His concept was to pay homage to the people who have passed away in the community and giving people who are still grieving a chance to come in and not only remember the people that passed away, but also pay homage to them by caring for the plant that has the individual's name and then the whole atmosphere. Really beautiful, man. Like I said,
Wow.
Stephen Head took this in his heart and he was really adamant about it. And he was pissed off, man. He got in my face because he was so angry and upset that I wasn't able to help him the way we were hoping to help him out. And I told him, I said, there was everything in the world was happening at the time. And, there was no excuses. I wish I could have helped him more, but I couldn't. But he understood at the end. But he got it done. Regardless of politics, he got it done, regardless of anything. And it came from the community. And it's supported by the community. You have some knuckleheads that may not understand it. And there's people in the community looking for opportunities to take plants here and there. But the majority of individuals respect it and love it. It took an inspiration of that. A young man who don't have a whole lot, he came out of his pocket to do so. He doesn't have a whole lot, but he did what he could to memorialize. And if you get a chance down Virginia Avenue tomorrow, actually the 4th of July, from 1 p.m. to I think 7 p.m. is when this gala event, and I say gala because it should be respected that way.
Most definitely.
You know what I mean? To pay respects to the different people that passed away and get to speak to him. It's very inspiring. He wants to do it not only there, but he wants to do it in every community throughout the city, because in every community we have people that have lost something. That right there is essential, an example of using space that's wide open, like Torres was talking a little earlier. Not every space is utilized properly or utilized to maximize the best interest of the community. Just because you put a playground doesn't mean kids will play there. Just because you put a basketball court don't mean kids want to play basketball, or human beings or anybody else want to play basketball. So to have the interest of the people, you have to include them. And the fact that Stephen Head did this to him by himself, it shows that things can happen with the right motivation and the right dedication, and he's done it.
That's to be commended. That is definitely to be commended. And the thing about it is, because city council should actually, give him some type of some form of recognition for doing that.
There is, but I knowing the passion of Stephen Head, he don't need recognition. He just needs support so he can continue going, because he has
that motivates people when he actually bring before city council and says, hey, look, we acknowledge what you have done. You know what I'm saying? It also boosts motivation for others to do the same, is what I'm saying.
Yes, no, definitely. No, give credit where credit is due. It's always about giving people their flowers, and that's in essence what will happen, and regardless of what, because he had God in his heart and because he did it with the best of intentions to give people a chance to continue to mourn in the process of closure, he's going to be blessed. I know he's going to be blessed, and the community should keep him in their hearts and to help motivate him and help support him. His idea also includes with like a micro farm to help children learn how to landscape and working how to manage with the land and how to grow things. He's already partners with some initiative at the AC Boys and Girls Club that he was able to do with some members that we all know in the community. Big shout out to you. So as it grows, there's potential for it. He's already had, if there's chance for funding for coming in, so people to help fund them so they can help pay people to come in and make sure there's always taken care of, which is greenery, lighting, whatever the situation needs going. There's potential growth to it. It's just a great idea, great opportunity. He took it upon himself, not waiting for somebody else. Because again, like Torres said before, if you wait for politicians to do it, it may not ever happen. Because politics get in the way sometimes, and bullshit happens in real life. So if you're dedicated and you show the commitment to do it yourself, people are going to support you. But if you wait for somebody else to do it for you, it may not ever happen.
Right. Look at Gino's response right there. I'm trying to make the connection. Maybe it's me. So that's good. Then take it out of the neighborhood.
Yeah. Right. And see, that's why I say if we're going to do it, it has to start within and I will, like I said, make it a purpose. Because like I said, having a brother that was killed May 11th, 1989, 5 o'clock in the morning, I still remember things vividly. But we have to have something like a healing garden, because like I said, people will be with you one day, then they turn around, and then they all forgotten. But you still got to live it. I seen my mom go through the pain of losing a son. Yeah. I seen it.
Right.
And I still remember it very clearly.
Right.
But this is, like I said, again, we have to start healing within ourselves and taking it upon ourselves in the community to do it. Mm-hmm. See, not from the outsiders, because the outsiders, they're not worried because they can go where they live. They don't even.
They come in and they leave. That's it.
And like I said, they pimp the city, they rape the city, and everything else.
And bounce.
That's it. But it has to start with us. We know enough people. We have enough contacts where we can get in the community and do everything together without going through a whole bunch of red tape, trying to do this and do that. We can do everything within ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it needs to get back to. And the same thing, Mo, even before when we did the couple whole initiative.
Yep.
On those cold nights, we went out there, gave blankets, we gave food, everything. We just did that. No fanfare, no nothing. That's where it really counts. That's where it really counts.
Yep.
See?
Jeffrey, it's 1 to 7, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Just in going, but you hit it right on the nose. It is always going to count. You've always been famous to say there is no unity, there's no community without unity. And in between the word unity is you and I. And if you and I doesn't exist in there, you don't have any of that.
And that's why I always said, Mo, community is the best word I always like to use, because when you break it down, COMM, you get communication. We are communicating right now.
Right.
Now, in order to do that, UNITY, unity, we got to talk to come together as one so we can build that community, be the community, and a part of it. See, but a lot of the people, they forget. They don't want to hear the community, the communication, or even the unity. They just want to go ahead and discombobulate everything and move around. But it starts with us, from within the community, from when leftovers were sitting there being good to everything. We used to build our own bikes. We need to go back to some of that sometimes so we can look at those things that got us where we need to be today without anybody else interfering with us, And like I said, I know Jeff is listening on here. He built up his business and everything and doing what he's doing today, and I give him his props for that and everything else, because he is out in the community. He's out there helping and everything. But this is what we have to do, because if we don't, they're going to break it down. They already took the city for another 4 years, but they didn't take the community. They can take that, but they can't take the community. Right. Because they don't live here. They don't eat here. They don't sleep here.
That's the greatest resources. Greatest resources. What have we been doing? And I said this, and you highlighted some of the things. Our biggest investment are the people. It's not the assets of the buildings. It's not the money and everything. It'd be nice to tap into that, but the truth of the matter is the most resourceful element that we have, the most proud thing, the most priceless thing that we have is each other. The human body, the human investment that we make. From all the different initiatives that we took part in throughout the year, it's about dealing with the people, providing some needs here and there. Yeah. But the most things that we provided for is support, love, appreciation, acknowledgement, community, camaraderie, brotherhood, fellowship, all those things we provided because we acknowledge everyone is existing. And that's important, man. And in society today, I think that's what we're lacking. We're lacking of.
Yeah, you got a very good point, and this is a very good platform because, like I said earlier, as far as what Sandy was talking about, we spoke about as communication. Both of you guys actually mentioned communication. There's a lack of communication when it comes down to getting things into the media around here, because a lot of media, like TV stations, radio stations, like back in the day, WUSS used to exist. You could actually put certain things, content, on the air, and people could come out to these functions. A lot of that is missing these days, so there's a gap in between there that's not, being filled. Absolutely. There's a gap in between there. And that's very important, because if you want a big turnout, you want a lot of people from the community, you have to get the word out. But not everybody is computer savvy. Yeah. Not everybody knows how to get onto Facebook or log into Facebook. Some of my friends don't even have a Facebook account.
Right.
So when there's certain activities going on, they will never know unless it's word of mouth. Whereas if there was a radio station or a TV station that represents the community, it will make a big difference.
Yeah.
You will get more people out there. The content will get out there. Just like the guy on the garden that you just mentioned about. I never really heard about it until you guys just mentioned it to me.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? That's what, and that's communication again. So all part of the unity in the community, you need communication.
Yeah,
and that's where a lot of things are lacking, is in the communication end of things. There's no black newspaper, there's no black radio station, there's no black, TV station on minorities for any of that. So what do you have to rely on? Atlantic City Press? I mean, that's really lame.
Right.
They don't always put all the best things in the black community out there any damn way.
Right.
Because it was founded by, one guy who was a governor many years ago for the Atlantic City Press.
Right.
So, we need better communicational tools. And that's one thing that we don't have in the toolbox right now.
Well, you know what? That's one of the actual impetus of the creation of the new norm, was to help inform people when there was no information.
Correct.
We talked about this in the beginning, the very beginning, how the idea was, when Eddie and I were just sitting around talking about things, we were just sharing information because there's such a lack. We're in an information desert. Yeah. And we talk about this before. Torres knows we've been part of conversations where the reality is, was it intended to keep us in the dark, for them to fully, really take control and manipulate things for their own benefit? Is taking us out of the loop of information. We don't have a local news. We don't have radio. What information has to come from us. It's limited. A lot of the times we get in our own way because of our own bitterness and bullshit. And so information doesn't go around the way it should. But it also requires us. It's old school. If we didn't have none of this, how are we going to get information out there anyway? A flyer, a handshake, knock on the door.
Yeah, exactly. And that only goes so far. Because, I remember with you and I, Mo, when I first, met you over this, I'm like, yo, you have a hell of a good platform right here.
Mm-hmm.
And this needs, and especially when everybody's on lockdown, a lot of people are going to be on the computer.
Right.
So this is a good way to communicate with people out there to get a lot of information out. But we still, now that everybody's getting out, we need more additional form of communication.
Yeah.
What we have to add to this.
Yep.
And one thing also we got to look at, because as you say, we have our seniors. A lot of our seniors don't have this type of technology information
so they're in the dark.
that we do.
Right.
So that's where it comes into also communicating with them. Now, like I said, Gina, Jeff, and LaFon, good evening. Now, just back a little bit, Steve Young came out and told about the water department here in the city taking the fluoride out. They never told nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Something to that effect. Now, all that information didn't go out. Now, how are we supposed to know what they're doing at the water company, taking away the fluoride and stuff? They don't tell us all of this. Once again, it's people that do not live in the city.
Mm-hmm.
They work here. They take the money. They leave out and they go. Like, just put it up. Cory Booker's man. Now he's in charge of the CRDA. Okay, you got a token. You got a person there. What? He don't live here. How do we know what's going to go on? What's going to happen? Come on. Let's be serious.
Right. We need to have a greater investment.
Serious.
Right. A real anchor. We need to have real anchors in the systems so we're all involved. Absolutely.
The thing about, you made a very good point earlier, Mo, because Atlantic City is a monopoly board for the rich and the wealthy and corporate. Right. And that's the reason why they play the game Monopoly, because they look at taking over this piece and that piece and putting something here and there. But at the same time, the people in the community, a lot of them don't prosper much from what's going on.
Absolutely.
Because many times they'll have whatever and they're out of here. When the conventions come in, it's from out-of-towners and they're in and they're out. That's it.
Right.
It's a good way, and usurping a lot of the energy and the money out of the community.
Yep.
Right.
Now, you hit it on the nose too. Forgive me. I'm sorry. You were going to say something, Torres?
Yeah. Now, last week, what's up, Trini? I see you in the background.
Yeah, I see you, Trini. Trini number 2.
Last week,
Trini number 2.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Here you go, and I'm very pissed off about it because of the fact that here you got the management at Renaissance Plaza has a 99-year lease. I posted up pictures back there because you got the school gateway right across from there.
Right.
They out there shooting up, having sex, doing drugs, doing everything you can. Their health conditions and everything, urinating and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I put it up. Then I got, a couple feeds here and there. But like I told them, I just put it out there so people would know who's responsible, who's going to cover it. Now the city, they did come out. I give it to Will Akins. He did come out there and everything and start, jumping on it. And I know about it.
Shout out to Bill, right?
Look at the way that it looks out there when your kids got to come out of that school, and the parents, they falling over, sleeping at the school and everything else, sex, drugs, and shooting up, pulling down your pants. Come on. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep.
Come on.
That's part of a larger problem too, because the truth of the matter is that portion right there is just like the outskirts of the issue that we have, the phantom zone on Atlantic Avenue, with so many people who are either homeless or looking to do wrong or lost in between, fumbling around alcoholism, substance abuse issues, going back and forth. And it seems to range, and we all know the areas range without identifying, but that's right on the same outskirts. It's a big bubble of all that kind of things. And it's a trip. And the more and more you see it, the more it seems like people are just turning their backs. I've never seen Atlantic City with so many streets where street lights are, where you have people sitting there with signs saying, give me on every block.
Yeah. Yeah, that lady that be out there on MLK out in that area, the one that's bent over all the time and everything, standing out there. Now, if they get hit by a car or something happen, then look at the liability that comes in it.
Mm-hmm.
Now on top of that, they're just moving back a little bit. That's the things that's going on. Like I said, back over there behind Save-A-Lot, they can close those gates. That way, eliminate once they clean it up.
Absolutely, they should.
I mean, it's a shame. So the thing is, who's minding the city, who's minding the store, and who's watching them?
Right.
Because nobody's saying nothing, and people are afraid to speak up and stand up because they're friends. They want to sell out here and there and think everything's good and stuff. I don't give a damn about none of them because none of them do a goddamn thing for me. And I'm keeping it like that because of the fact people are afraid to say what they had to say because they're afraid they won't get this contract, that contract, or even this and that. Listen, you're gonna die and pass away anyway. You can't take it with you, so you might as well say what you got to say.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know what the other truth that I find also?
Nobody wants to stand up.
You know what the other truth that I'm starting to see more and more is people are fearful. Like a company, I forget the parent company over top Save-A-Lot. Before Save-A-Lot came in, there was another company that came in, and it was the threat. We don't get this, we're leaving. It's the threat. And so you're potentially putting people, their resources, the only resources they have available, jeopardy, because you're complaining about something they should be in compliance with anyway. And we've been talking about it for years. The project alone wasn't necessarily well thought out. CRDA's concept that came in with the city partners or city leadership wasn't just the best concept, wasn't thought about. Anytime you have a supermarket and then you have right next to it, you have a liquor store, and then unfortunately the truth is the dollar store, and then one time you had like the $5 pizza joint around the corner, and one time it was McDonald's on this.
Yeah,
So
Caesar's now, Caesar Pizza, Little Caesar Pizza.
Yeah, down, and now you get another chicken joint. So it's a mindset. If we're thinking, if we were, and I put this question out, if this community was primarily Caucasian, if it was a different community, do you think we would see those same type of retailers?
Heck no.
Do you think we would have that type of respect amongst the community? Do you think we would have some of the impoverished people or the hardships that we see staggering down Atlantic Avenue? Do you think that's the case?
No.
Go down towards Stockton.
Would you see it if it was if the mindset was different? Or is this intentional? Is it allowed to happen and manifest so you have somewhere to point fingers at? I don't know. I'm looking at it like, to me, it looks like it's a setup.
But
like,
the same token, Mo, you're looking at Save-A-Lot having a little bit of competition because based on what I've heard, that Stone ShopRite plans on opening up in Atlantic City somewhere. What's the deal with that?
When I see it, I'll see it.
Right. Now, I heard,
that's what I keep hearing rumors about here and there.
Now, some of the things that I heard, when they walk in, when they turn around, their security system is going to have facial recognition. Okay. So if you got facial recognition and everything else when you go in the store and everything else and stuff, come on. Now, and you're supposed to have armed security there, or it's supposed to be maybe some of the police that's going to be doing there as a detail.
Right.
So if somebody comes up and everything comes on a facial recognition, they have a warrant or something like that come out. Where does that go? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of loopholes here and there that we have to really be considerate of. You know, but when you mentioned like armed security, and this is just in hindsight, think about it. Armed security doesn't necessarily suggest that it's just impoverished or people in color, communities of people in color. You go to Fifth Avenue, New York City, and you got armed guards everywhere.
Yeah.
You got armed guards in Beverly Hills. You got armed guards everywhere. When you talk about people who are, or retailers that appreciate their goods and they know the value of their goods and they're fearful of people stealing, they're going to do what they had to protect it. Here, it seems like everyone's pointing their finger at someone else to protect it. If the owners of the companies did more about reading what they needed to do and being more responsible for it, would this be a better relationship? Would this be a better relationship? I don't know. Guys, let me give you a heads up. Apparently, there's this guy named Bob Roberts, right? He just did a post that usually has a little connotation of racial bias. I'm going to put it up because I don't like, you know, I'm not one to not share with different things, but he's had some connotations that are a little bit, you know, it seems to be racially biased at times. I could be mistaken, but he's posing questions. I want to make sure everyone they felt the rights. We look at everybody and treat everybody respectfully, no matter what. So we're giving them a chance, but I want you to understand, like I said, a little back history, because it seems like he's engaged in conversation. Whoever this individual is, and again, it's questionable. This person may be a bot under somebody else's name that created a name just so he can go and interact on Facebook and other arenas without feeling like he's in jeopardy. So I don't know, but he says education.
That's just like who was that person, Amy, whatever, that was always up in the chats on Facebook.
Yep.
You know,
yeah. So you know, it's one of those things that we have to be considered. Remember, you have prying eyes looking at all of us, and I don't disagree. We have to be more accountable of our own communities. Yeah. We have to be accountable of our own households and our homes. However, if you have systems and processes around you that you have to work in that was never really intended to support you or help you like it does other communities, then we know there's a problem. It's going to be working really hard against you. It's not an excuse. It's just that's the truth. We see it in America happen, especially in the justice system. So,
right. So let's go back a little bit. A couple of years ago, CRDA gave $7 million, okay, for the neighborhood stabilization program, where you can talk to the police, call the police, they come, sit down, talk with you and everything. Where's all that money? You know, you got the camera system. Okay, the camera system is not out in the community where a lot of stuff is going on and taking place. And you got, you know, Councilman Muhammad Zia up there at his store where that shooting took place at and everything else, and they ain't hear nothing. Come on, let's call it out. I'm not afraid to call them out.
Yep.
You know, you turn around, you know, you should have at least came out with a statement. Everything that's going on. You're a representative of the city. If you're a representative of the city, you don't have to come together with everybody else. You can be your own man and speak and say what you have to say, because you're benefiting from all the profits and everything stuff that's going on from there. Now, I heard they were supposed to, that KFC, Taco Bell, they was going to put another Popeyes down there. Okay.
Yeah.
But I heard that they pulled out because they said because of the condition of the area and everything that's going on, they don't want to put nothing there.
I don't blame them.
You know something also, because, you know, just to back things up a little bit, because that Bob Roberts that actually posted something on there, you know, my thing is this: if you have a point of view such as what he actually posted, be a man about it. Show your face, come on, or show your voice, and let's talk about it.
Not gonna happen.
That's where I'm at. Other than that, you know, you're in the peanut gallery, you know, and that's all we're gonna give it. It's a grain of salt. He's
a coward. He's a Trumpster. He's a coward.
You know, speaking about Trumpster, they're supposed to have a protest tomorrow on the Parkway with all of the Trump fans. You know, state police are aware of it. This says maybe 5 people going to come out, or maybe 100 people. So the Parkway tomorrow is going to be jam-packed with a lot of Trump people protesting, you know, just like they've done before. So they're looking at the Parkway is going to be congested over the 4th of July weekend here. That's insane.
I believe it, and I say this.
That's insane. The Parkway is going to be a mess.
I say this like I say everybody. Everyone has a right to protest. Everyone has a right to have their own opinion. You know, whatever the situation is. Like when they came through Pleasantville, I was like, let them be. Let them go through Pleasantville, say whatever it is they want to say. It's their opinion. It's their opinion against our opinion as long as we don't get hostile about situation.
Exactly.
Let's be honest about the situation. The only reason you're upset is because you are fearful. You are cowardly. You have a tendency of feeling entitlement. You feel that the world needs to be only in your benefit, not ours. You still look at us like we're supposed to be downtrodden. We're supposed to be your slaves. No. Not the true reality that we have here. And we're willing to go and do what we need to do to adjust your view, to make it so you can see clearly what you need to see.
And we ain't going back either. We ain't never going back. We're moving forward, whether you like it or not. Either get on the bus or get off. One out of the two.
Exactly. So whoever Mr. Bob Roberts is, or whatever George, or whatever other name that you want to go by in real life,
or Dick, you know, because
or Bob Dabalina,
whatever you want to go with life. The true reality is that you can't hide. You can go outside of your home and you're still going to see people like myself. You're still going to see our children prosper. You're still going to see America that was built off of our blood.
And more of us are coming over here too.
Exactly. So your fear, no matter how valid you think it is, it's your fear. You have to cope it. We don't. Don't make it our problem, because we know how to solve problems. We do, and we will. So let's get back to
one. In more ways than one.
Yeah.
Just to back up a little bit, Mo, when you was talking about in Pleasantville, when they was coming through Pleasantville with the trucks and trumps and everything and stuff right there. Listen, I was there. Was we there together, or I don't know if we was.
I was in the city. I saw the video off of Facebook.
Okay. I was there and I seen them. They was when they stopped at that light on Main Street.
Mm-hmm.
They came out ripping off their flags, those Trump flags and everything. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You know that's going to happen. That's going to happen. And that's how stuff's created and everything. And that's what they've done.
Yeah.
They try to end it.
Mo, this one lady, you know, what did she do? Uptown Atlantic City on, New Hampshire Avenue? She showed up there with a Trump flag and deliberately went on the beach up there.
Yeah.
And come on, you know that you're going to provoke shit.
Yeah.
A huge flag.
Yeah.
Down with a huge
you know that you're going into a hornet's nest, that you're going to be ridiculed in every which way but loose. You know, it's like you actually going down into the middle of Ventnor or whatever the case may be with a Barack Obama, you know what I'm saying? Big, you know, umbrella or whatever the case may be, and laying on the beach. Come on.
And she would have been fine if she
provoking things.
And that's what she was doing. She was trying to provoke. That's people. That's all they want to do is provoke engagement. Try to make it look like we're animals and try to be unruly and uncivil. And you're the one trying to provoke it. But you don't understand. You provoke a damn dragon, he's gonna blow fire on your ass. But you know, that's what it is. I remember we walked up on the boardwalk. We were just walking to see how the beach was, and they were pointing this out, and it blew my mind. Like, yo, this lady deliberately was bold.
Yeah,
on a beach that, you know, going to a beach that is traversed by predominantly people of color. Don't bother nobody. We just have a good time. Everybody's welcome, no matter what you are, whatever walks of life. You're welcome there. Everyone's, you know, if you want to eat something, somebody always break you.
Girl wanted some recognition. That's all it really was. Mo, she wanted recognition.
That's what she wanted. And that's why they called the police and asked her to leave, because she was actually just becoming a nuisance. You were causing a problem. You didn't need to. You should have just sat there and enjoyed whatever time you had on the beach, like everybody else, enjoying the air, enjoying the beach, and enjoying the neighbors. Yeah. We're neighborly. We would have gave you a hot dog if necessary, something to eat. Well, if you had kids who watch over them, that's who we are as a community. That's how we are worldly. It's when you provoke us to try to bring out the darkest parts of us. Shit, we still got PTSD, what you've been doing to us for over 400 years. Yeah, but we're really good at coping with it.
But you know, also know, because all those bad boys on the Parkway, you know, maybe some of those bad boys are wanted by the FBI, you know, for that insurrection. You know, this is a very good time to run some license plates, because you're gonna find a lot of people, you know, on the Parkway and the expressway in this Trump caravan that's maybe wanted for that insurrection, and they can't find them, but they want to blend in with the group. That's how they're trying to do. They're blending with the group to make the group seem a lot much more bigger. You start running some license plates, the state's gonna make a good bit of money off of this. You know, this is a golden opportunity.
It could.
You know, and when they get to the tolls, you want to make sure that the state police are there also, because you want to make sure they don't run the tolls. You see what I'm saying? If you got to pay, you know, $1.50 or whatever, you drive up, you pay your toll, you get to the other side, you run the plates. You know, they could capitalize off of this. You know, turn a negative into a positive.
Yeah, There's ways. It's always been the system. The system has a double-edged sword. You know, it's always been just used against one group more than others.
Of course.
Turn it around. If you want to be just, you want to actually be a tool of justice, then turn it around on the proper people. They're doing something illegal and they want it, get their asses. That's all, plain simple. We don't disagree with somebody's done wrong to get arrested. Do what you need to do, as long as it's just. Now, if you happen to beat someone's ass that's on that parade, we might not necessarily stand up against. I ain't gonna say we wouldn't, because we would. We're people with kind individuals. See, we see some unjust going on. We're gonna raise our voice. However, you know, don't test it. Just don't test it. Don't test. Don't put yourselves out there like that and test it.
You know, don't you know, with the state police and those bad boys, don't do like what happened on January 6th and just sit back and say, well, maybe only 5 people are going to show up. Don't anticipate about 1,000 people going to show up, and then you show up in full force. You know what I'm saying? It's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah. Did y'all hear that one of the insurrectionists went with Trump down on his mission down to the border? They identified him and everything. He was well identified as being one of the rioters that went over to the insurrection, and he's wanted and has to be answered to. And he's there taking pictures with 45 down at the southern border.
Hey, birds of a feather, Mo. Come on, you can't tell me birds of a feather don't flock together. No matter how you pluck it, it's still going to end up the same. Came off the same damn bird.
We know what the flock is going along. That's right. We know what's up.
How about the state attorney general moving on?
Yo, all of a sudden, right? That bugged me with all the situation going on.
I know exactly what they're doing. I know exactly what these bad boys are doing. It's all part of a plan to get the big man. That's all it really boils down to. And it's not done because the state attorney general and the District of Manhattan, both of them decide to team up and go after these bad boys.
I'm talking about Jersey. We're talking about Jersey.
Jersey.
We're talking about the
Jersey now.
Grumol.
Yeah.
Grumol just all of a sudden submitted his resignation out of the blue.
Yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
We're looking at it from an aspect of saying, well, if he gets to DC, hopefully in the justice system, will he continue from that level of what he is and go over the issues that we know we got going on in New Jersey and finally arrest some people, prosecute some people that need to be, take these people, lock them the fuck up like he's supposed to, like we've been needing and asking him to do with the justice system. Will he finally do it from where he is in DC? I don't know, but I found that kind of curious. Found that real curious all of a sudden.
But I tell you
out of nowhere.
Yeah. But I tell you what, right now, a lot of people are lucky that Chris Christie's not in office.
True that.
He cleaned house and do what he had to do. He didn't even do it.
True that.
So, believe me.
He was
Wait. You said that he cleaned house and he did not have to do it?
No, I said he would have cleaned house. Remember, before he got into office and everything, he was the United States Attorney General. He was taking everybody out.
Yeah, a lot of them were Democrats up in North Jersey and stuff. I remember that.
Yeah. Now, everything that's going on now here within the state of New Jersey and everything, if he was still the governor, I believe he still would be shutting things down.
Yep.
I mean, that's the way that he was.
It was partisan like crazy. But at least when it comes to the arms of the justice,
Chris Christie's like Trump's boy, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, Trump couldn't do anything wrong, you know, when it comes to, Christie couldn't do any, Trump couldn't do anything wrong when it came to Christie.
Yeah,
so it's all politic bullshit again. That's what it boils down in my eyes.
The only thing
Barack Obama, when we had Hurricane Sandy, look how fast Chris Christie showed up on the tarmac with Barack Obama
over in Brigantine.
Deliberately meaning
he was talking about Barack before all of that, but then when he came to Jersey, he was the first one over there. Chris Christie's like the wind. Whatever direction it blows in, you're gonna see him there. And that's where I feel about that guy.
The crazy thing, just as a backtrack, and I remember this conversation that we had with then Mayor Lorenzo Langford. He explained to us, because we were waiting. We were really aggressive, and like I said, I applaud and salute Langford for his work ethic during that crisis that we had with Superstorm Sandy, trying to help out whatever it is. He took it upon himself to do what he could for the city of Atlantic City, and we were all together working together to try to help all the residents that were suffering. But he had said he met with Barack coming in from off of Air Force One in Pomona, And right there, the president was like,
that was suffering.
you know, we're going to talk.
Said
we're going to talk. I'll come back to you. And he left it. He was like obliging the president and left it at that time. But Chris Christie deliberately took him from there and went past Atlantic City to go directly into Brigantine, which we knew Brigantine was a Republican safe zone.
Yeah.
That was his support system to try to lane it. And remember, he caught a lot of flack after the fact because he was sitting there tooting the horn of a Democratic president. And all the Republicans like, you shouldn't be this way. Nah, he was doing whatever he could to try to help support his ass.
Yeah, but also remember, when Trump decided to, after Trump did all of that craziness in Atlantic City, when he had that rally in the whole 9 yards, he went down to Wildwood. And Chris Christie shot down there like a bullet. You know what I'm saying? And Jeff Van Drew. Both of them. So, like I said, they're like the wind.
And that's why I always say again, it's always the outsiders that's messing up the city of Atlantic City. Look at the majority of them that's controlling Atlantic City and everything else.
Right.
I mean, come on. They control the tourism district, but not the community.
Yeah, that's the money maker. In other words, it said we'll control the money, but then we'll let you control the other situations that's happening in the community. They separated it.
Yeah. Now that time that they had the vice president Pence come here, they cleaned up that whole Atlantic Avenue and everything was clean. It looked like, listen, it was, beautiful. But then after they left, boom, right back.
And what did he come down here for? A wedding.
Yeah.
He came down here to support, to be a part of a wedding, to actually look at a wedding. So they cleaned up the city for a few minutes. I'm like, yo, you just basically systemically kissed his ass. You made it look a certain way just to kiss his ass. And his ass wasn't nobody to kiss. He didn't care two shits about the city. He still doesn't. But it just shows, sad to say, it's the practice of people in power and people and entitlement here in South Jersey, specifically Atlantic City.
It's a monopoly board. Like I said earlier, corporate America, it's a monopoly board. They use it when they want to come across it.
Absolutely.
That's where the money is. It's a monopoly.
Absolutely.
Park Place at the boardwalk, and so on and so on.
We've had many years now, 2-3 decades, to try to get the system right, get the formula right, how to make it work for the city itself. And we've allowed North Jersey, Central Jersey politicians to get in the way. We've allowed them to empower themselves through legislation to take out the little resources and tools that we've had here in Atlantic City to help us. We were promised 40 acres and a mule, to use that term respectfully, but we've been given a termination, a document of termination and a buffet certificate that for buffet is not even there anymore. To get two free meals at a buffet that doesn't exist anymore. We've been sold some bullshit. But oddly enough, like history speaks, we've had people who come from us who've helped sell us out down the pipe. People who are celebrated to this day. We're part of that sellout pride. That packaging, they helped package the city enough and delivered it to them. Here you go. Now give me my crumbs on the table. It's the same situation still to this day. You got some people eating damn good, but it's just crumbs on the table compared to where everybody else can eat. And we're left to believe that we're not powerful, like we don't have a voice. Man, if we shut down the expressway and every other pipe coming in here, these casinos couldn't function. They wouldn't make any money. All it takes is for us to shut it down. They wouldn't make no money. You think they would listen? Potentially. Last time we put a threat like that, they threatened us and said, we'll shut the Showboat down. It was the most profitable casino in the city at that time. Had the most potential, and they shut it down because they wanted to play politics, Republican politics, behind, at that time, Christie, which was a potential presidential candidate. And this is just to appease him. It was their sacrifice, the industry to sacrifice to their Lord. And look where it got them. That whole company has broken apart, fallen apart, and sold as bits and pieces where they could have been reigning king or reigning really well in the city if they would have just kept on the same partnership with the city. Or at least be reputable the way they were acting in the beginning and stop playing bullshit politics and games that they do at such level. It's a damn shame.
It's a game. That's all it really boils down to. It's a game.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's the same old bullshit, man. But I wanted to touch up a little bit about the war on drugs and cannabis, and I want your opinion. Do you think, first off, what's your opinion about this whole cannabis thing coming up, legalization of recreational use of marijuana here in the city? What do you think?
Go to
Is it a plus? Is it a downfall? Is it a trap? You know, should we get more involved in it? Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
And it's true. Now, you know, I take on that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It can be beneficial for us if it's managed the right way,
Mm-hmm.
and if it's controlled the right way. But if you look at it now, everybody's already out there selling it. So really, would it be profitable? Because people are still selling it illegally. But here you got to have a dispensary and everything else. But then again, who is having the dispensaries? I think they got one now up on the boardwalk and everything else and stuff now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, there's one.
See, well, if they already doing it and we haven't even ratified or set perimeters and everything in place, but then you're also going to have to look at the laws.
Mm-hmm.
See, you're going to have to look at those laws, and when do those laws take effect, or are they going to be grandfathered in?
Right.
It has to be a lot that goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
My thing I would do, or like I think Colorado, go out there and look at some of what they do and everything, how they manages, or right, a place that already has it.
Correct.
Get someone to study, see how the pros and cons, how it goes, what's going on, the laws you got to look at.
Do your homework.
Right. You never partake of anything, not unless you offer up your blessings first before you do something, because it may not be what you want.
Absolutely.
See,
you gotta be careful what you ask for, right? Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And that because like I said, then again, they already out there selling it and everything else and being profitable and everything else. So if you do it legally, they, whether you have a dispensary or not, people going to do it and you're still going to make money.
Yeah, I think in Vegas they have it, whereas, you cannot smoke pot in public, but you could do it in your hotel room, something like that. So that's, but you have to, like you said, you have to do your homework before you get out there and just jump into the same bucket like everybody else. Because remember, in Atlantic City and New Jersey, if you actually have, say you find out a beta field or pomona or whatever the case may be, and then you leave with some weed in your pocket and you go to another state, that becomes a felony. Yep. That becomes a felony. Because remember, the federal government don't recognize you have the state and the federal, both of them are totally separate.
Right.
So in Las Vegas, they have a little green bin that you have to put all of your weed into that green bin, because if you fly to another state and it's illegal, like if you go to Alaska from Las Vegas, you're gonna be in hot trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So you definitely have to do that.
Okay, there go Bob Roberts again.
Bob Dabalina.
and see now, just to go back a little bit, they just had the Buzz Fest. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They had marijuana and everything and stuff there.
Right.
So how was that, how was it looked at and everything else without breaking any laws? Was it well thought out, or was it just looking for a profit?
Mm-hmm.
See,
a lot of times that's exactly the question. I think it may have been just for the profit's sake, not really advocating.
Right.
Like, if I'm not mistaken, I think you're the person that brought this to attention about New Jersey Weed Man. Were you the one that was talking to me about the New Jersey Weed Man out of Trenton? It was somebody I know that I consider a friend was talking about New Jersey Weed Man.
Yeah, because I don't mess around with nothing like that.
No, not that.
I'm gonna get you out of my league.
not that. It's New Jersey Weed Man is, of course, is a person who advocates for weed and has been using weed, but he's been really advocating for the legislature to help with people in low levels to get also just the decriminalization of weed. The whole process, he's been an advocate. And he set up shop across the street from the Trenton State Capitol. And he has actually a facility there that has a restaurant per se. He's done pretty well with this whole concept in the very beginning. He was being prosecuted and everything. Won a couple, lost a couple here and there, and he's been like a national stain point. And he's actually been a spokesperson for the whole cannabis push. And the reason I said about the New Jersey weed man, because a lot of discussion that we having about potential cannabis use or the industrialization or the mechanism to create the economy here for that, he has been a vehicle for it. And I was just trying to remember who may have had that contact with it, but a person who really mechanized it and try to inform people more, about the processes of weed and the potentials of it, and decriminalization and all that stuff. Really important factors, even to the point where just recently he said the recreational use law sort of, it was in contrary to what he supported. I was like, wow. But it's more too. So if anybody's interested in looking into it, I think it's NewJerseyWeedman.com. He has his own website advocating and all this stuff. He's really he's a resource. That's something that's impeccable. But you got to be able to reach out to him.
Right, and like Adrian said earlier, if you coming into New Jersey, okay, let's say New Jersey got their little thing in place. You come in, with some marijuana and everything else, you get caught.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's another thing you got to look at, the legalities of what's going to go on and what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Which may be, okay, New Jersey, marijuana friendly, but are you authorized to have it? Are you able to move it within New Jersey guidelines the same way as you look at, in order to carry a firearm?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Exactly.
Believe me, you're going to be hit.
Yeah, like that black girl. That black lady, she came from one state and she had a firearm. They pulled her over somewhere on the Park Road Expressway. She's like, I have a gun with me and it's legalized. I have a license in Maryland or whatever. And they're like, yeah, we don't recognize that.
There you go.
So, and you have a license in Jersey to carry. And they decided to, they had to change the laws because of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm considering the way things are going. You know what? It's a trapping also because of how marijuana is now. It's integrated in food and snacks, and I'm always concerned about how the potential of somebody making it a gummy bear has also making it now appealing to a child or a kid.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I worry about that stuff. But you hit it. Yeah, the equivalent of what you said about gun laws is something that really we should look at it the same way. We should be a lot more cognizant of the impacts it has on the communities. I'm not against gun ownership as much as I was in the past. However, there's balance and there's regulations and education is necessary. Same thing when it comes to cannabis use. I've not been an advocate of weed for recreational use, more medicinal use, but now that it's implemented this way, we have to be careful because each one could be harmful. Some more harmful than the others, but harm does exist.
Yeah, Mo, Jeff just posted something that I'd like to probably expand on.
Great, bro.
He mentioned something about the federal government and the state, and we control. The thing about it is when it comes to cannabis,
make reference to it. Okay.
Yeah, when it comes to cannabis, okay, the state could legalize marijuana or whatever, but if you go into a different state, you're taking a plane, which is actually federal transportation in actuality. So when you're going across the border, it may be legal in Jersey, and I know this from family out west, but it may not be legal in another state. And you're using public transportation to go from one to the other, which is federal.
Federal offense.
It's no different from when Chris Christie and the federal bridge, when they blocked the bridge and all of that kind of shit up in North Jersey, the GWB bridge. And they're like, look, it's going to cross water, and the bridges are controlled by the federal government.
Right.
So once Chris Christie and them blocked that bridge, the GWB, the bottom line is the feds are like, no, we're going to prosecute any and everybody, and they can do that because the bridge belongs. They're no different from you taking a flight from New Jersey to California, whatever. You're taking a plane. That's federal. You get on that plane and you act a fool, you go into jail, but the feds are able to investigate and step right in with the FBI, the Department of Justice. So people have to realize these laws. It may be, you could go from here to Bridgeton or whatever in Jersey, may be legal. But if it's illegal in another state or you're transporting, they can bring you up on felony charges, no doubt. I know that.
Yeah. All interstate travel falls under federal regulation.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Not interstate travel, the use of interstate roads or methods for interstate delivery or passage. Not the travel, but yeah.
So the bottom line is, and this is the way I always look at it, if I'm going somewhere, I'm going to look up their laws. I'm going to know what's going on. I'm going to know what's happening. Because if you remember a few years ago, or maybe about 10 plus, the young kid was a college kid. He went over to Japan. He went over there and turned around in criminal mischief or something he did to one of their mosques and stuff over there. And they caned him. It's nothing we could say or do.
He took a flag down.
Like Malaysia.
Right. Yeah, he took a flag down or something like that.
Malaysia.
Right. They caned him, although over here we got upset. But that's their laws.
Yep.
So when you travel from state to state and everything else, and like I tell you,
you go to another country.
Listen, some of those third world countries and everything, I seen when I served in the war and everything over in the Persian Gulf, you turn over there, you shoplift, they cutting your hand off. I'm telling you.
But here goes another one for you. If you go to Saudi Arabia, right, and you have a porn magazine or any that stuff and they come across in your phone, they will tap that ass.
Listen,
you're allowed to marry and have more than one wife, but you can't be messing with porn.
Because there's one lady when we was over there in KKMC, she came out of our compound and everything else and stuff. She was from over there. When she stepped out of our compound and stuff, they stoned her to death. It's nothing that we can do, touch her or anything, because that's their laws.
Yeah.
Oh, here goes another one for you, because I mentioned to Mo. Because if you go to Trinidad, you're not allowed to wear camouflage fatigues at all. It's illegal unless you're in the military.
See?
Because they had an uprising many years ago, and some of those people had on freaking camouflage, and they couldn't tell one from the other. So they banned everyone in the general public from wearing any type of camouflage fatigues.
See?
So when you go to the islands and stuff like Trinidad, you're not allowed to wear it.
Jeff is part Wild West kind of guy. You know, moment it leaves the vehicle has to follow state rules. Yeah, I understand.
Oh yeah. Like I said, that's why you got to know the laws where you go. Yeah. Even I know a couple cases before, you have police officers that traveled from out of state, not here on business, carried their weapon with them, and they still got charged in the state of New Jersey.
Yeah, because even my friend is a cop in NY. I have a friend that works, that I grew up with. He works for NYPD. Every time he comes to New Jersey, he has to take that gun and put it inside the car trunk. You cannot have it up front in the glove compartment. You got to put it in the trunk.
Right.
And if you get pulled over, you got to let them know that you have a weapon in the trunk.
If you have a concealed license, you have to let the officials know of the state that you're going into, that you're coming in there.
But not only that, the casinos do the same thing too. Because if you check into the casinos, you have to leave everything at the front desk. Yep. You cannot take it to your room.
And when they do that, like I said, that's why, like when people come in, other officers from out of, jurisdictions and places, and you're traveling and everything else, the best thing to do is make contact with the police department. Listen, I'm here. I'm not on official business and stuff like that. They would even lock it up for you there. But they get caught up like that.
But years ago, there was a situation in Tropicana when I worked security there as a young man. And what happened was this one guy was actually gambling, and he had a gun, in his back. You know how they tuck the gun in the back, and he was bending over the crap table, and somebody says, "Yo, he's got a gun in the back." You know what I'm saying?
Nope. Jeff, correction. No, he cannot. Only if he's here on business, official capacity business here in the state of New Jersey. Okay, he just can't come in here and carry an open conceal. Not in New Jersey, you can't. Only if you're turning around and working in official capacity under the color of your office. So, under that, nah, that's wrong. Thank Christine Whitman for that one.
Yep.
Yes. Believe me.
Turn the weapon in. Correct.
Yes. Believe me, I've seen people get jammed up when they used to have the conventions right here. They had conventions, the police expo
and all the time in the nightclubs.
Yep. And they got locked up and arrested and everything else and processed because, like I said, under New Jersey, you're not here on official capacity.
Yeah, because even when they get to the casinos and they start gambling, these people are under the impression that I could walk across the casino with a gun. No, you can't. You have to check with security first every single time around. You just can't walk across the casino with a freaking gun.
You have to let them know, DG. Yep, the official division
Yeah,
of game
you have to be escorted.
state
Yep.
police. You have to let them
The
know.
state police, which is the DGE.
Yep.
And you let them at the hotel, you notified, they will lock it up, put it in a safe for you and everything else and stuff like that. But here in the state of New Jersey, you know, you cannot carry, not unless, you know, that, you know. Now, like I said, once again, look it up. Okay. No, they can't. Not in the streets.
No, not in the street. No, no.
There's always going to be a battle.
No, you can't open carry as a foreign cop in the street. No, you cannot.
No, if they are not here on official business and they have their weapon with them, they can be charged. Yeah. That's according to New Jersey. Yeah. I know it. I've seen it done. And that no, they cannot. That's just like me taking my gun and I'm going to Philadelphia and everything, carrying it with me. I got my badge and all stuff like that. But they're going to give hell. But here in the state of New Jersey, if it's not official capacity, you can't
open carry on the street. Being a cop from out of state. No, you cannot. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're state police, you have to be escorted by the New Jersey State Police with their permission. You know, so it goes all the way up the ranking.
If you're working in a case on New Jersey, you know.
Here we go.
Well, federal law allows, you know, they put that in place for them to carry. Now, they can carry, but once again, in the state of New Jersey turns around, although they have federal, they coming into New Jersey carrying their weapon. New Jersey's going to hit you with charges. You know, I'm not talking about casinos neither. I'm talking about all around. All around. New Jersey.
A police officer in any situation is a police officer solely in the jurisdiction where they're supposed to. Correct. The only officers that have federal jurisdiction are the people who are federal agents over certain jurisdictions here and there, not local officers. I think there's a misunderstanding in community, and it's always the ego of certain people who think they know the law, and it's always a lot of misunderstandings.
Federal agents
who are certified and licensed. Look, the law, don't test the law, just learn the law, because you'll be sitting there looking really stupid in somebody else's interpretation about what I thought I can do this, I thought I can do that, and this way and that way.
Well, what Jeff is talking about, they passed a federal law that would turn around and allow, you know, retired police officers, you know, a federal law to carry their weapon. Okay, they made that into a federal, but it's a federal law that they do have. But some states, you still have to abide by what they also do.
But you see, the thing about it, you know, there's a difference between, like it says, the federal and state laws. Because, like I said, certain things you can do within the state, but then when you go out of that state, you know, like state police from another state have to get permission or get, you know, another to be escorted, you know, into another state. If you're going to make an arrest or whatever the case may be, or if you want to bring a firearm, you have to have the permission of the other jurisdiction because each state functions individually.
Right. So if I'm working on a case, you know, let's say in Philadelphia, I'm coming to New Jersey. I contact New Jersey, and I'm like, listen, I'm coming into your jurisdiction. Correct. We have information and everything else and stuff, this area and stuff like that. You know, my paperwork. We meet up at, you know, the location at the station, let them know what's going on and everything, and they will escort us because it's their jurisdiction and everything else and stuff. It's just the same way if somebody going to try to turn around here in the state of New Jersey, want to repossess your car, they got to notify the police department first.
Exactly. So, you know, it's not from like a car chase. Also, if you have a car chase going on and you go into a different jurisdiction, you have to notify the other jurisdiction that you actually have a car chase from your state into the other state that they could actually intercept.
Right. But like Jeff said, they do have a federal law where it allows you to turn around and, you know, you can carry your weapon.
Here we go. I love how people bring stuff up and, you know, because interpretation is a very dangerous thing. We have to understand that we have to learn it properly, and it's very helpful. But this is what they're talking about: 2004 HR 218, Congressional 2003-2004. Although it was recently amended, but this is what we're talking about. You say clearly defines as they may. Clearly, what's the statement here? Law Enforcement Officers Safety Act 2004 amends the Federal Criminal Code to authorize a qualified law enforcement officer carrying photographic governmental agency identification, governmental, to carry a concealed firearm, notwithstanding any state or local law, declares that this provision shall not be construed to supersede, not to supersede, the limit of the laws of any state, permit private persons and entities to prohibit or restrict the possession concealed firearms on their property. 2, prohibit or restrict the possession of firearms on any state or local government property, installation, building, base, or park. Defines qualified law enforcement officer as 1, a current governmental agency law officer who is authorized to carry a firearm, who's not the subject of disciplinary action, who meets agency standards, which requires the employee to regularly qualify in the use of a firearm, and who is not under the influence of alcohol or another intoxicating hallucinatory drug or substance. 2, a retired law enforcement officer who retired in good standing from public agency service, who was regularly employed as a law enforcement officer for at least 15 years, who has a non-forfeitable right to agency retirement benefits, who has met the state's standard for training, qualification for active law enforcement officers to carry firearms during the most recent 12-month period, who is not under the influence of alcohol or another intoxicating hallucinatory drug or substance, excludes the definition of firearm or machine gun, firearm silencer, and destructive device. This is the interpretation based on Congress.gov. That's dangerous. If you don't know what the hell you're reading and you're not understanding, you're thinking everything is coochie crunch. This person who's supposed to have the right to do so can only do so if they meet active rights now.
Well,
they're retired and they have to meet the eligibilities at all times within the past 12 months.
Right. They have to go to the range to make sure that they do qualify with that weapon. And that's what the qualifications in. Now, I'm going to tell you, before all of this went on and everything else, the best thing somebody could have got was a federal firearms license permit. But now you can't even get that.
Right.
Before, I mean, you can carry that and have that with you everywhere you go and stuff. But with everything that went on, they shut it down. Try to get one now. You won't be able to get it.
Yep. But like Jeff was saying, you made these broad statements to say just someone's retired can do so. You have so many requirements to suggest that you have to meet those to be eligible for it.
There's a lot of
everybody. They don't just cause. You have certain things that you just won't be able to get because of the standards. You may have retired, but you don't necessarily meet all the requirements to do. Some people will, but not everybody. Don't just assume. That's a wide, broad stroke.
But Mo,
but they say limits the laws of any state shall not be construed to supersede or limit the laws of any state.
That's the operative word.
Worry about
the operative word. Because if you're a retired cop and you come and go and decide to say, "Hey, I'm going to go to Bally's Park Place and gamble, and I'm going to take my weapon because I don't want to get mugged or whatever the case may be." You know, when you step into Bally's Hotel and Casino and you actually put down, you have to let them know that you have a weapon. You can't take that with you because look at what happened in Las Vegas when that guy had that mass shooting. He took all those weapons straight up to his freaking room, and he had a field there, you know, on target range of all of those people on the ground.
Yes, he did.
So that's to prevent that kind of stuff from happening, and that's the reason why those laws sit the way they do.
Yes, he did. It's really dangerous. We're living in dangerous times because interpretation, I said before, interpretation is real dangerous because interpretation masked by intent can create an issue. Because you can intend a specific thing and you can read into it based on your intention. That's how religion has been misconstrued, beyond faith, and that's how a lot of other stuff has been misconstrued. So it's very dangerous. We have to be very cognizant and understanding what we read by getting all of its interpretations, especially when it comes to things that can potentially take life or hinder life.
But like I said, Mo, it depends on the source where they get the information from, because not all former sources will be accurate. So you have to do. That's the reason why they came up with the fact checkers these days, to check the facts, to make sure that they are correct.
Yeah, even Patch agreeing with you, Mo. You got it.
Patch was out there, somebody with fireworks running it off like it was a Uzi. It just sounded like a Uzi all of a sudden, and then Patch he's temperamental about that. I can't stand the days coming up to Independence Day because everyone has to have fireworks and shoot it off. They can't wait for Independence Day. But
Yeah,
it sounded like
Jeff just posted something there about up there. I think Jeff just posted something else up there. Comment.
Oh, that was just about the. This is the last one. I make sure all comments go.
It's not a car.
Bin, yeah, car bin he carries anywhere in the world. Clearly. Okay. Okay. Remember, there's always a situation about I know because of this, I know because of that. Whatever you know, cool. I'm glad that you know. Make sure that you know what you're talking about because I would hate for you to have to succumb to what you thought you knew. And
you gotta know the rules. You know the thing about it, that's so crazy, Mo, because many years ago, growing up in the uptown Atlantic City, 17 years old or so, just got my driver's license. I used to roll around with a police scanner inside of my car. And then the cops told me, no, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You have to be a officer or whatever the case to have a scanner inside of your car. I'm like, it's harmful. It's just a police scanner. They're like, no, because people tend to use that for bad reasons. You rob a liquor store and they know exactly where the cops are. Because you're driving and you have that scanner. So it's only for people in official business capacity. Right. Didn't know that, but I learned the hard way.
Yeah. Did you know even in a situation where you have you know how there's applications with different police scanners, having the application could potentially be prosecuted. You can be prosecuted for that.
Come again?
Just by having an application. You have these computer applications that you can get online or the Apple Store.
Yeah, they have it on cell phones and stuff. You could actually have download that stuff.
Yep. Mm-hmm. If by chance you have it and you lock it into the local, you can get charged for having something, to be involved in something. You can for possession.
That's probably because if you have it on your cell phone or whatever the case may be, because some people have like police scanners at their house. You can buy it off of eBay or Amazon and stuff. A police scanner and pop inside the crib and listen to that. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like different. But they probably mean like when you're walking around, you have it in your cell phone as an app.
Right.
Because it would be the same equivalent of moving around with a scanner. It would be same equivalent.
They just the SEC made it they had just mentioned how the dangers were more prevalent with someone with mobile abilities than someone at a standard or a static situation. To have a static situation, you can at least be found, you can be located, but having a mobile situation makes you eligibly more dangerous if you were involved in something you shouldn't be involved in. But that's technology, man. Sad to say, for every good thing, there's about 2 or 3 bad things that always someone will find a way to manage it, to work it. So
now, just to go back a little bit, if you work for the federal government or special ops or something like that and everything else, you can carry a weapon, all around.
Right.
Okay. That's if you're working for some type of agency or something like that. Even when working for Interpol, when they come over here, they got to go through a screening process in order, to carry their weapon and stuff.
Yep.
And that's the whole thing as far as with there, because they're always on call. But basically, once again, if you come into New Jersey, you're a law enforcement officer, and you're not here on official business or nothing like that, and you bring your weapon with you, you can guarantee they're going to take it, lock it up, and they're going to charge you.
Yeah, certain countries are the same way. You go into a different country or whatever, and you have your weapon, and the first thing the cops on them says, even though that you're here on official business, we don't allow foreign cops or whatever the case may be to carry weapons. So you will have to go with you, but you won't have to turn over your weapons to us and let us do the work.
That's how they do. Now imagine going over to Germany and they carry Uzis. You think you can take over that little weapon? Listen, I seen them over there. Believe me.
Colombia.
Yeah, they roll hard, man. They roll hard,
Yes, they do. I seen this chick over there down, I ain't going to say the district, but anyway, she was over there. She slammed that guy. He got smart with it, and the rest of them, they came up, and they was all standing over 6'7".
I believe it.
They don't play.
I believe it.
Talking
about gun carry, I've spoken with a few people who are federales from Mexico, people that work for the state patrol. And they talked about, I talked a little bit about guns and that stuff because I was concerned about how the interaction at the border, with all this stuff going on. And they talked about the regular people, citizens, have the right to carry a gun. They just have to make a small registration with the area that had the drugs, and that's always just an ongoing process, a small registration. But they're able to carry it. They carry weapons continuously, but don't be an American coming over the border with the gun visible and all that stuff being registered, because they'll take it from you right there. You're not supposed to.
But here's another one. I know we all seen it and seen it online.
Mm-hmm.
And it says,
yeah, I don't know about that one.
We all seen it online where it says you can apply here and you can get a carry and conceal license in these 12 states. You take this course and everything else, and they send you this. Come on. Try it and see what happens.
Full of shit.
Try to see what.
Yeah, I don't want to. One of them was on Facebook, like really adamant about stuff, and I was like, "You can't do that in New Jersey. You can't, but other states you can. You other states. We're saying about other states. You're over marketing in the state of New Jersey. You know your marketing tools. You're trying to get it. You're having a session in New Jersey to teach people how to do something that you can't do it. You can't do it in New Jersey. So why are you having classes in Jersey to teach people they can't do? They got to move out to another state. That's just trying to be greedy about shit. And I can't stand unethical business tactics done by, predators like that. They're trying to get everybody armed. You're recruiting people in those highly sensitive, fear-mongering states who still think that the Confederate has a chance of winning. Those are the people they're trying to recruit. Come on, man. Trying to arm people to carry weapons. When weapons, the issues of weapons have been too much of an issue in urban cities.
Yeah. But Mo, have you heard that a lot of the Trump fanatics plan on back in August, as a matter of fact, they think that Trump is going to be placed back into office again. So a lot of them plan on having another insurrection part two. Yeah, right. So they're like, we're going to have a civil war coming up in August because if they don't reinstate Trump back into the office, that's another form of insanity.
Yeah. Now, those states, we do have states that have open carry laws. You can carry laws that's in the open. Mm-hmm. You do have states out there.
Texas is one of them.
Right. So, that's what I'm saying. I don't know where you're going to turn around and you're going to get one ID that will cover all these here and there.
They're speaking about a universal ID, like a universal driver's license or something. Not the same. Not the same.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a thing. Like I said, man, when you talk about gun advocacy and how people are so gung-ho to believe everything, but there's always, Jeff seems to be a very knowledgeable individual in things that he likes. So whatever the situation, him and his boy John, I swear they come from the same rock. But whatever the situation is, as long as you're informed, as long as you do things within the law, that's what matters. That's what matters.
Yeah, but even though, like he says, in VA or whatever the case, if you're coming from another state and you're going to another state, you got to recognize the rules and regulations of that state that you're entering. Mm-hmm. You just can't be blind. It doesn't work that way. You have to know where you're going. You do your homework. That's what knowledgeable people do.
Absolutely.
And see, that's how a lot of the guns and everything comes to our communities, because you have some of the states with open carry and everything else, and they collect them. They come up here and they sell them. They're easy access where you can get them.
Well, this is like a gateway, to tell you the truth. New Jersey is like a gateway to a lot of these states up north, for running guns.
Jeff, I don't know what the hell you typing, bro. You always said that sometimes your mind is going 1,000 miles a minute and you don't type on I don't know what you just said, man. Respectfully, bro. I don't know what that's about. But
Latin life.
We have to be really careful in the season of what it is now today, because when we go back and forth about gun laws, you have people who don't give a damn about gun laws. When we go back and forth to find entitlement and privileges for people who are trying to align, you got some people who don't give two shits about any regulation, because their intent is solely to use the weapon for what it was intended to do, to kill. The intent of it's either empowering somebody the right to carry to make it easy for them to kill or feel like they're protected, or do we eliminate all that shit altogether and let people fight? I don't know. But I hear the conversation always. I'm always hearing between gun advocates. They're so adamant. I gotta have my gun. Okay, cool. You do whatever you think you need to, and keep that same energy about civil rights. Keep that same energy about voters' rights. Keep that same energy about other things. That's it. That should be equally important, if not more important. Keep that same energy. It's important. You know what I mean? But we have an extreme situation that seems to be developing sometimes in our communities, and we have to be careful. You said, I'm knowledgeable about things I like. I said, yes. Ask me about Latin wife next. Okay. You funny.
Yeah, you want to change the subject.
They were trying to change the subject, huh?
Yeah. It's all good.
It's called a diversion. Trying to divert things.
I hope wifey's good too. I hope everything is good, man. It's good to see you guys have pictures. That's all good. And I'm glad you look like you had a good time in Puerto Rico, bro. That's all that matters. It's all good. That's what we do here on the New Norm. Sometimes we have debatable issues that we discuss, but we're respectable. And we're respectful of one another because opinion is extremely important. It's been provided to us, and we support it. Sometimes we have people with different points of view, and that's fine because that helps grow. We grow with more knowledge, and we try to be a conduit here on the New Norm. We try to be a conduit of good information. Sometimes it's not as good as other things, but hopefully we can learn from it and build on it. But that's what we do. But thank you for connecting with us. I'm just really concerned at how we're moving closer and the way things are going. Like, remember we talked about it last week about Juneteenth, right? And how Juneteenth was celebrated. But then behind all this stuff is the Voters' Rights Bill that's being attacked and being dismantled. You saw how the federal government had to go against Georgia and put a federal lawsuit against Georgia to stop their disabling of the Voters' Rights Bill in Georgia. And this is always the sense of it. Politics is about distraction sometimes. They distract you with one thing while they're screwing you another way. It's always the concept, That's why I said I'm so liberated now from being an independent. I'm no longer sided with one side or another because even as a Democrat, I was coming hard on my Democratic Party also. But I will line myself with those that want the best and will speak for my community. Atlantic City, people of color, all people of Atlantic City, justice, the things that I know ring true for me. So I feel so much more liberated being able to do so. But we have so bipartisan that it's always us versus them. Keep saying it's the same gang warfare. It's blue versus red, Republicans against Democrats, us versus them. It's gang warfare, and we're not getting anything in return. It's a damn shame. Like in this situation, let me just highlight something that just happened, transpired last night. Matter of fact, I'll leave that for another time. It's a good discussion. It has to do with the AC board education. We'll talk about that. Something is developing, and we'll see how it develops down the line, but we'll see how it goes. But the issues that we're having here in Atlantic City is always bipartisan. When we have, and Adrian, you were talking about this before, we don't have people of color as governors, but we have them as
exactly. That's what I'm thinking. I'm sitting back here thinking exactly that.
Right. So when we don't have the power from the governor's office, we are left to assume that we have power from the municipal office. And sometimes what happens, and we've seen this in New Jersey, and I'd like to consider it like the old boy, the good guys, the good old boys, the
good old boy network. Come on.
Yeah.
But the wannabe mobsters, they want to act like the mob, and they talk like the mob and prance around like they're the mob and this way and that way. And they try to act and execute things like a mob. It creates a us versus them thing, and they dangle carrots in front of our eyes when we're hungry. And that's the damn shame. So it creates that us versus them thing. And it's always a puppeteer in the background pulling the strings. It's so fucking disgusting how we find puppets, but we're like, nah, they can't be. They can't. Yes, it is. Torres, I remember you and I going over to the League of Municipalities on a few occasions. running into at that time was Andrew Zach and good old Van Drew.
Yeah, I remember.
Running into both of them jokers, talking to them, seeing if we can get a few minutes to talk to them about Atlantic City and the issues that we have here. How to get some more support, how to get to the table to have a real discussion with the real movers and shakers. And what do? Basically brushed us off to the side. Nothing.
Hey, Mo, can I interject for a second there on that, since you mentioned Van Drew?
Go ahead.
Because a lot of what happened is, as you already know, dealing in foreclosures, I've done that for about a decade. Mm-hmm. And many years ago, when I was getting started, and I noticed what was going wrong in foreclosures, especially in the area and across the country. Mm-hmm. I had as a matter of fact, I met with Jeff Van Drew, so I drove from here down to his office. I explained everything to him, what was going on and the things that needs to be done. The first thing he said to me, put it in writing and send it to my office, and that was the end of that. And they're notorious for blowing people off, and that's the reason why people keep electing these people, and they're as dumb as a flipping rock, to tell you the truth, is what we put it in office. And like I've mentioned, not only on this show, but I've mentioned on other shows that I've been on, that all of the power lies with the governorship. To hell with the rest of the stuff. The Democrats want to go for the president and they want to go for vice president. That's all fine and dandy. But then right now, a lot of rights are being taken off the table, by the Republicans, which the majority of them are all freaking governors. They're all governors, one after the other. Oh yeah, you guys got the presidency, yeah, but we run the state. So you have to listen to us. We don't give a damn about the federal government because they can't tell us what to do. But we hold your future in our hands. That's the reason why, and that's when Trump actually stacked the Supreme Court. He knew this. So if they go to the states can pull these things away. You decide to sue the state, it goes to the Supreme Court, and all of his boys are sitting up there and say, we're all in cahoots here. What would you like for us to do now? That's what you're running into.
Yep.
That's exactly the problem. Until we start getting, people of minority and colors in as governors, and we start voting our consciences and getting these people in there, that we know that's going to represent not only us, but the entire state. We're going to be spinning our wheels because, like I said, you can't even, down in Georgia, you're not allowed to have any water. You can't eat anything in line. They're going to take away Sunday voting. All of these things are being taken off. And not only in Georgia, in all of the other, the Republican states, they're taking them off. And then when people run, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to sue this state. It's going to take a while because it's going to end up right back at the Supreme Court. And those guys are all Trump buddies that he stacked the court with. The Democrats come along and says, we're not going to stack the court. We're not going to stack the court. But the Republicans had no problem doing it. But then the Democrats are like, we're not going to stack it. No, you should stack the damn court because they did, but you're afraid to do it now. And that's the problem there. Because the Democrats, and every single time you go through history, you'll actually see that every single time the economy goes into the tank, it was done by a Republican and pulled up by a damn Democrat. Go all the way back to the 1918, 1929, 1934. It will all tell you the same story.
Watch it happen again. What we talk about, Murphy has an opportunity of placing, I think it's 64 open judges.
It's 73 of them are out. 73 judges they need in the state of New Jersey. Let's see what's
73. I guarantee it's going to be heavy Republican. Why? Because he's looking for support from the Republican Party.
Because they want to go nice. They want to play nice with the Republicans.
Yep.
Look at the insurrection. Even up to today with the insurrection, they can't even find, other than Liz Cheney, one Republican to actually say that shit was wrong. That's crazy. One Republican. And then the only one, then McCarthy came along and he says, hey, look, if you guys going to actually go along with this insurrection and this community that they're going to put together, we're going to strip you of your duties. You tell me. He threatened all of them.
Well, if he's looking for judges, he should also start looking for prosecutors too.
But you know how to prosecute a situation? All prosecutor from the upside always comes from what? The lower end prosecutors trying to impress them.
Yeah, but then who's going to replace the attorney general? Because remember, he has ultimate power up top. He just up and resigned. Okay, so now who's going to replace him? I'm waiting to see that. I'm waiting to see who's going to. That's what matters.
That's why I brought it up. That should be interesting.
Hell yeah.
We talk about prosecutors. Look at the attorney general. He has the ultimate power across the state.
Were you with me when we ran into him when he got into office? At Harris?
Oh yeah. Remember
how he was drunk as hell?
Who?
We ran into grew
Murphy?
up.
Get the
Him too.
He was celebrating. We was happy for him because it was really good to see people a representation. The seat in that situation, beautiful, man. We love that. It just shows that there's hope for others, man. Everybody, you know what I mean? It's just not secluded and only limited to one group of people always, you know. So we was really happy for him. So that was crazy. That was a trip.
That still does not neglect when Murphy came out with that statement talking about the minorities being unchained and everything else and stuff. So,
Unchecked. Yep.
Now there's I forgot the pastor's name up in North Jersey. He is on Murphy hard.
Okay.
I forgot his name. Oh, he's ripping, talking about how he used African Americans and everything to get an. He's on him. He's from North Jersey. He's on him.
You know what's sad though? That's demonstrative of democratic politics. You'll have white representatives run, and they get lots of support, financial backings from other businesses here and there. And they'll buy support from people of color. Buy support. Pay them to go out in the field, knock on doors, and get endorsements and get all these things, and never come back to the table to pay respectfully what these individuals truly wanted and what the community wanted in the first place.
Yeah, they forget about it.
You know, they only look at people. They look at people basically as, if I can afford to buy you, I'm gonna buy the election.
And that's what Murphy, he put what, $1 million or so and stuff into it. Remember we was over at the church over in Pleasantville?
$1 million in every county. $1 million sent to every county committee club before he came in office. That's what was reported. $1 million was sent to every county committee on his support to find support for him to become governor.
I don't know where the money went for Atlantic City Democratic.
And this is a legend.
Wow.
This is a legend.
Well, that's what I heard too. Look at ask Mike Suleiman who you got there and everything else and stuff on top of that.
That's right. That's wiping up the backbone.
He doesn't. He likes bending over all the time. And in that message, I said it right there. He want to see me, he can see me. I don't care. You know,
but it goes back to that old saying. They ain't gonna put a brother or a sister or one of them as governor because they're gonna put that kind of support behind them.
They're not, or even Hispanic as governor. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. You know,
that's too much. You're giving up. That's giving too much up. In a state that's always been siding with Republicans and conservative views and racially biased views, that's almost the impossible range. That's the last frontier to them, for them to give up. Not Texas, not Florida, not Georgia, Jersey. That's the last frontier.
That's the reason why there's an old adage that says there's nothing new in Jersey. Check that out.
It's not.
There's nothing new in Jersey.
It's
the same old nonsense.
Yep. And go and give a shout out to Shamika Boots on the Ground. Glad that you're watching.
Shamika Harvey Cotman, coming in. We told her, we're really proud of her stepping up and running for the position. It was difficult in her situation coming off. She had physical injuries. She was in a car accident. Wow. Really hard for an individual her age and her situation to run. She still did it, and she put 100% into it. We're very proud of her. And we're looking to see her continue to move forward and do other things, just like everybody else. I think Jeff may have some endeavors that he's looking for in the future. So cool. Keep doing that. Keep pushing. We need to put fresh, new, younger blood in the mix so we can replace some of these cancerous, toxic individuals that have been in office way too long. Toxic, cancerous individuals who constantly feeding on the community and then turn around and try to blame you or make you feel bad because you don't support what they want. That's that sickness. That's that bullshit.
Well, the bullshit never ends, Mo. Come on. The bullshit never ends. You know that.
Yeah. They doing nothing. Like, even with the county candidates too. They feeding off the caucus and everything else and stuff. So let's call it like it is. Yeah. And we keep going for the okie doke with them and everything else. Tell them I said to go to hell. Not I tell them my damn self.
Well, you just did, bro.
I have no problem.
You spoke like a true champ.
You know what? and I'll say this honestly, during my duration in office and running and representing and being an advocate and working with Democrats, period, there's been a lot of good people I ran into. I mean, really good people that working and they want change and they did whatever. But there's a mechanism in between change and where we are right now that always gets in the way. And that mechanism has money, it has greed, and it has old world connections. When we get rid of those three things, there's a potential for change. Because these old ass farts that are greedy as hell won't ever let go of their grasp. These people who have been in office way too long, been in power, and we are talking about people that used to be state senators. How the hell you be out of office and still powerful in the area? Because you let them be it.
Because there's nothing new in Jersey. You know, they get change and we get small change. You know, it's a big difference. They get change and we get small change. You get what's left on the table.
That's one of the reasons I'm running for office now for mayor. Because this guy's in bed with the fucking enemy. And no way in hell you want to be in a situation you being in bed with the enemy. You don't care. No way in hell. It's all good.
You know, because as it is right now, I don't even know if there's an election or anything going on because there's no spark, no nothing, nobody's saying. I mean, like I said, you got to go for the jugular, cut it out, do what you got to do, make it happen. And it's like nobody is quiet.
Yo, because of all the shit that was going on in the beginning, so much dirt. People are tired of the mudslinging, the backbiting, the stabbing, the bruising, the bloodshed for nothing. You got brothers at each other's throats because they align with opposing people. You got communities getting ripped apart because a candidate wants you to draw blood for them on their behalf. That's that bullshit. That's the problem. That's why we can never get along, because we feed into that animosity. If you put all the positives and pros and let it rock, all the negativity, we know what the hell's negative. We can't act like we didn't know. And I always say the same thing. People will show you the type of person that you are, what they are. It just takes you to listen or look at it and accept it. But people, they're not blind. It's just sometimes we act stupid. And we selectively stupid about certain things. We want to act certain way. Oh, I didn't know. Yes, you did. Stop lying. Oh, I thought it was no, stop lying. It's because you were looking for a hookup. He was easily bought and you thought you was in that connection, that circle. A circle of friends, because you thought it was good, and when it became not good anymore, that's when you have a problem. As long as you eat, you don't give two shits about nobody else. That's the problem. Atlantic City has so much potential, but the problem is we keep letting ourselves get in the damn way. We got thieves, liars, and criminals in places to block blessings that all of us can benefit from. All of us. And we're not just talking about at a municipal level. We got thieves at the county level. We got thieves at the state level. They're on cahoots together. And when people are ignorant of the systems, they are lied to and they are led to believe it's one way when it's totally different. And that's why most of us have a disdain. Anybody who's been in politics are disgusted. Disgusted how it goes. Torres, you pissed off? You disgusted how these lying ass pariah, parasites have been, right?
They're still lying.
Exactly.
And like I said, that's why I'm supporting Republican, Democrat, Independent, Undercrat, whoever I want. Because like I said, once again, they ain't got a damn thing for me and they ain't do a damn thing for me. And that's the way to be.
Yep.
All those family, friends, and favorites going out the way. And like I said, nobody is speaking up, saying anything. They're going along just to get along, just keeping the same old thing.
Yep.
And that's what they're doing.
I would say we've been exhausted, man. Our community, small community, have been exhausted with the bullshit. If it's not one, it's after the other, one after the other, one after the other. And people are looking for an exit. I think that's how Don got in. People were looking for an exit, thought that was going to exit. No, wasn't necessarily the best option at the time, but it was an option that a lot of people chose. And then moving forward, it's the same situation. Everybody wants an exit from the same old bullshit. Everyone wants to live a better life. We know that. Everyone deserves to feel safe. Absolutely. We should have some place where we can get good food. You're damn right. We shouldn't feel like we're left with nothing. No, we shouldn't. but you can't expect better and different from the same old shit, from the same old people, because you know each other. Atlantic City's all cousins, AC. Everyone's related or knows each other. So the mechanisms that have been in place is because we helped put it there. Don't cry after you're done that things are wrong in this way when you help put it there. I've been crying all along. Just no one's listening because I'm not in the circle.
I think, you know, a lot of us are crying. We need to stop crying and do what we need to do to go ahead and make it happen.
Get it at? It's right.
You know? And that's each and every one of us, the ones on here and everybody in the community, because like I said, Mamie Till said, tired of sick and being tired and everything else, but you're going to have to do something. So what are you going to do to stop being tired?
Mm-hmm.
You have to.
Change requires action, not just hope.
I guess no more backwards thinking and start thinking ahead, huh, fellas?
Oh, yeah, there you go. Go ahead, sing that song, brother. Get that song out there and everything else.
You know the rest. I don't have to go there. You know the rest.
We about to go nostalgic and get the clothes.
You know the rest. I don't have to say it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, it reminds me. You know, when I think about some of the things, because I've had a lot of experience with music and the whole 9 yards. You know, a lot of lyrics. You know, because I remember that song "Self Destruction." When I keep hearing, a lot of people shooting or whatever the case may be, and people are killing, and Kumodi in that song says, back in the day, when my brothers and sisters were hanged, how could you gangbang? I never ever ran from the Ku Klux Klan, and I shouldn't have to run from a black man. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because that's self-destruction. And that's what we're looking at here, in a lot of cities with this pandemic. It seems like, when this country catches a cold, the inner city catches pneumonia. And that's exactly what happened, with all of the killing and shooting.
Yep.
That's what we're dealing with.
Since you came with that, Adrian, I had to come back with this one. Grandmaster flashing them in a message. It's like sometimes you got to keep going under. Listen.
That. Right. Let me just post.
Let me come over. Let me get you back. You know what I'm saying? Because it's called survival. Only the strong shall survive. It's called survival. Exactly. In order to stay alive, it's called survival. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's about.
That's it.
When y'all whip out an 8-track, I'm done. Y'all whip out an 8-track.
Correction, CD.
But listen, let me ask you a question before we close out. One of the situations that my wife and I were just talking about it, and we got into a really ruffled discussion about unity, right? There's a cry and hope that you hear often. Why don't y'all just come together with the opposing side and come together and finally doing something for the community? Why can't you one side come over to the other? My point of view was one side has always tried to work with the other, but has always been pushed to the side, hand slapped out the face, never allowed to participate, never in. Do you think like I do, like some situations, some people do not want to unite? They gain more from separation and opposition. Do y'all see that?
Think about it, Mo, because I mentioned this before, even in the casino business as the employees, whatever the case may be, where you see a lot of people go into their own little corner, into their own little pod, into their own little section, because they feel more at home doing it that way than to reach out. Reaching out to someone on the other side takes effort. So a lot of people don't want to make that effort to reach out, to go to the other side to negotiate anything. And that's where the problem lies. In between that gap right there. You want to be comfortable, so I want to go with my people over here because I feel much more safer over here. So I'm not going to reach out to the people over here. So that separation, which creates a division, some people just don't want to put that effort into it. They feel, like say the Pakistani community and the Indian community and the West Indian community and the Haitian community, everybody wants to be in their own little pod. But in a community, we need each other to function. That's the bottom line. We need each other because we're all in this together. Bottom line.
Well,
go ahead,
the thing about it is, we have people pride and egos and everything and stuff gets in the way. And I always say you can have a seat at the table, but you can't buy every chair, and that's the problem. People want to turn around and buy every chair and everything else and stuff, but if you're going to bake a cake or something like that, you got to turn around. You got to have all the ingredients to do it, and you need each and everybody to come together. See, sometimes people forget where they're coming from and don't even know where they're at in order to do things. So you got this side say, yeah, let's come together. But, it's all about compromisation. What goal can we get to come to bring everything together? Because like Adrian said, right now is, divide and conquer. As we intertwine it in here and everything doing what we doing with this side and that side, well, you got the state side and everybody else over there. Look Atlantic City. Look what's going on. Same old, same old. Instead of putting everything down where it belongs, get the best qualified people where they need to be and everything and say, listen, let's do what we had to do for us. Okay? That's where it's at. But, if I'm not getting this one can't have that. Like I said, we all got to eat. We all breathe. Okay? If we don't have the same kind of blood running in our body, then something wrong. But see, like I said, once again, everybody want to think because it's not their idea, it's not this, not mine, and everything. But see, like I said, if you notice, when you turn around and you come together, you're more powerful than trying to just be one. See, that's what's going on. And as long as the state and the county and like Mazio and Armato and all of them, they keep talking about Atlantic City, up there saying this about Atlantic City and everything else. But where are they at with the killings that's going on here? They came to the Unity Parade, because it was a Unity Parade. I ain't say nothing. I let that fly right there. Right. But they ain't talking about the killings. They ain't talking about the jobs. Okay. You got
to talk about that money though. They talk about that money.
Man, listen, see now you get ready to take me on double stuff, keep me on there.
Talk about that money.
You know what? Bottom line is, it's going to take the people of Atlantic City and the residents of Atlantic City for accountability, responsibility, and to take stock in our own community. Correct. Before we need to do anything. You got to take care of within before you can take care of what's out. And that's what's going on. It's the outside filling us all up instead of letting us have what we need to do.
But, Torres, let me ask you a question. Because if you had a black governor or minority governor running the state, do you think that he would actually have done keeping the state, not having Atlantic City control its own destiny?
Well, the thing is, I look at that both ways, Adrian, because he may be controlled over here.
Correct.
By, some of the people that if you don't do that and you don't do that, we're not going to let you have this and have that. Now, once again, I'll come back and say two people I usually think about, Mayor Koch of New York, and also, I think, Doug Palmer of Trenton. In office 20 years, no problems, no issues, no nothing. Boom. Mayor Koch, when he was around, whatever day it was and everything, he was there with the people. He didn't care. Now here, I'm very interested to see how this guy at the CRDA is going to do, all quote unquote, because we got a black guy in there now. Okay. But same here with Murphy. They're going to use us and abuse us the way that they want and everything else and stuff. And we love the chicken and watermelon. He's going to give us with his money, and we still going to put him in office. But it takes Atlantic City as the economic engine of the whole state. Get rid of all of them on the CRDA board and everything, and you're good. Okay, you got one representation here in the city now? Come on. Seriously.
We do. That goes back to what I've always said.
We are our own worst enemy.
Absolutely. We get in our own way. We've allowed to be bought out. We put a price tag to everything, and we lose value in ourselves. Because we keep on supporting the same people with the bullshit and the blue and the loo-ha-ha about what's going to come or what I'm going to do in the future. Man, you haven't done it.
But also, let's blame ourselves because we're not holding them accountable and responsible for everything and stuff that goes on here in the city of Atlantic City. God damn, let's call it out. Okay, look at the third ward with Kaleem in there and stuff and everything else. Okay, you see everything that's going on. If he want to see me, he can come to me and say something. That's no problem. If Sporty want to say something, anybody on city council, whatever, or the mayor, anybody that's running or whatever, call it out. Like I said before, you want to know what goes on, go sleep where everybody's going on at. Go stay over there in Renaissance Plaza. Hang out there. Sit with them and everything. See everything that goes on. You see it, but you bypass it. Come on. Enough is enough. But then when the people take it back and they have control to do what they need to do, then they're going to, I was doing it. No, you ain't do it. Move. Come on.
We prioritize what we think is important, and people do not listen to one another to actually find out what is truly important. You mentioned it before. We go into little cubby holes and little subgroups, and that's the only important thing we have. If you're part of this family, that's the only thing that's important to you. You're not understanding that in a small little piece of the of lot that we have called home, we got to share this lot. So we're all in this together. We're all family. Whatever happens to one impacts the other. And if you don't bring balance, then it's going to stay unbalanced as always. And that's what we need. We need balance. Yeah, we need us to do it. But we also have to, as you said before, call out the failures in our choosing, failures that we have, whether they're people, processes, or products that we support and have supported. If they're failures, then they got to go. But we have to identify the stature or the standard of what a failure is. Because you'll have some people say, oh, yeah, he did a lot for us because he got a playground. Or he did a lot for us because he put people to work, getting entry-level pay to clean streets. He did a lot for us. That's okay. You feel he did a lot for us. But in the scope of things, what else could he be done? Could he create an academy to develop people so they can learn and do more, be entrepreneurs, have asset gaining, have product sharing, have space sharing, create the shared space process? Could he did that? Could he, instead of selling properties out for the rateables, could he have creating community centers, have cooperatives in the community so the community have asset value? Could he did all that? Could have, but he didn't. Because there was somebody else in his ear saying, I will make you wealthy if you do what we need you to do. And it's always failed. It's always the same shit. And who looks bad? We do. And everyone's in denial. Oh, it's not this, it's that. Oh, it's not us, it's them. We got to own up to our own shit. The mistakes that we've made, the people that we followed behind, and the intents that we talk about are needed. We don't have an agenda. We need to come down and build an agenda, a community-based agenda, what we want, and then put a limit to it, what we're willing to take from ourselves until we get it, what we demand. Because our votes they're not respected. Our voices are not respected because somebody else is willing to buy us out. I'm going to give you $150 to run the elections, and you're going to get this fly t-shirt, and I'm going to let you take a couple pictures with me. Oh, yeah, that's social equity. That's it. But the rest of your family, not educated. Your children, still victimized on the street. Your family can't eat good food because the processed food is only available in the communities. Still can't walk in the communities because they're unsafe, because the atmosphere of poverty still exists. But you're still willing to follow the bullshit that they've been telling you. Still willing to listen to old school things that don't work in modern day issues, in modern day practices. It's our fault. So how do we fix it?
Because we're living under that broken window theory.
Yep. Yes. Absolutely. So that's why I'll say, I get into these debates about whether this group and that group, because it's always the same shit. I've been busting my ass hard for a long period of time for everyone else. Community, always doing all kinds of community initiatives. What I got to show for it just fills my heart. That's all. It feels good. I can't pay my bills off of the shit other than me being an elected official. Okay, thank you for the salary. I appreciate that. I'm not living wealthy. I haven't created businesses. I haven't done any of that shit that other people have. But people like to turn their cheek and be in denial, using the economic machine called elections. I never used it for anybody's downfall. I never abused it. Nah. But people just want to pick and choose what they want to side with. And that's the problem that we have. We're not responsible. We're not accountable for our own parts in it. We're not accountable for the shit. So we got to fix it. We guys hit it head on from the beginning. Solutions are going to come from the inside, from us.
But one of our problems is we worry about everybody else but ourselves, because you deal with other people and they'll operate for their community. But when you deal with us, the first thing we say is we're everybody's politician, and they're not everybody's politician when they operate. Mm-hmm. We have to learn how to be honest to ourselves sometimes.
Yeah,
we need to play in our communities.
To a certain extent, we have to play a bigger part in our own communities.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But then there's the Barack effect. We were so gung-ho supporting Barack Obama being the first black president. So gung-ho. Assuming that he was going to take away the woes of black America. He was going to eliminate and eradicate all the issues that black America was. This was the mindset of Americans. But when he went in there and represented the way he did honorably, he didn't do as much. He seemed to lock up a lot of us. He seemed to kill a lot of people abroad, but he didn't wipe out all that stuff. He was symbolic.
Right.
He was honorable. He showed the best of the best, but he didn't put in the effort to help black America the way black America's assumed he was going to do.
But he talked like he was going to do it, though.
Yeah, in the beginning.
That's the problem I have with Barack Obama.
Yep.
When he came and was giving them speeches, he talked like, I'm with you guys.
Yes, we
And then
can.
when he came out, he could have done whatever I expected Barack Obama to do a Donald Trump. That's what I expected.
Okay.
I don't care what everybody, this is what I'm going to do here, 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 and here. But then if you look at his lineage, I don't think he had the balls to do that. Just based on who he is.
Yeah, watching him develop as a community leader, and I was watching him at least, I say at the most 3-4 years before he became president, because I heard of the impact he was making in Chicago. I heard of all the discussions, and I was just paying attention. I just happened to pay attention to the right person and follow him through. And I knew when he became president what he was capable of, and he didn't let me down. I was just hopeful that he add on to the agenda to help benefit black America or people of color more. Right. You know, like his agenda in the beginning was,
you still had those guys running, you know, like Boehner. You still have Boehner. These guys are painting their ass every time you look at it. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Back and you go to Washington as a black man. What makes you think that you're not going to have a substantial amount of pushback? You have to be pretty damn naive to think that you're not.
Absolutely.
You know, because, Charles Boehner every single time, and Newt Gingrich from these boys left and right down his throat.
But he wasn't fighting Boehner. He wasn't fighting Boehner. He wasn't going against Boehner. He was going against the traditional mindset of America. He was eliminating and eradicating the mindset of America, thinking about politics.
We get that.
It wasn't the man he was going against, because he's beyond that. He spoke circles around him. He did work around him. He had the right people behind him. So it was a machine. It's once he got in office, the issues that he felt is because of his color and the fact that he spoke so well and did everything he did honorably and didn't make mistakes the way this president has 45. Had a family.
That's from the get-go.
You know, but I'm saying, we already know the animosity that he was going to face from the beginning. He's still facing the shit.
Yeah.
We know it. It wasn't going to come easy, and it wasn't an infinite win. You know how people say we finally did it? Hell no, we didn't do it. Show me a lineage of 10 black presidents, then we could talk about winning.
Yeah, but when Barack came in, he had the House and the Senate, correct? But he didn't do nothing with it. And then his second term, he couldn't do nothing.
Yep.
His hands wasn't tied. That's the problem I have with Barack. His hands wasn't tied in his first.
A lot of those.
You hit it right on the nose. When he could have did something, the only thing he was doing is try to sing Kumbaya, to try to bring both sides of the table to the table. He wasted his time and opportunity and was allowed to do what he was doing, which was waste time. He should attack shit right from the gate because he had both sides of the house behind him, but he didn't. He wasted time trying to appease Republicans to try to bring to the table instead of saying, no, we're going to talk later. I got
this is what I need to do over here. And then when he did stuff, it wasn't for us. And I have nothing against the LGBTQ, whatever, but that's where his it seems like his attention was. I don't know. I have a hard time with that.
I don't know. Like I said, he accomplished a lot. And I love the national honor that he presented.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And being able to speak about race. He spoke in such an honorable way, man, that even though he wasn't the president that we needed, he was still the president.
Right.
And I'm proud.
And okay, I'll give you that. He wasn't an embarrassment.
No, hell
right.
no. Right, exactly. But he wasn't what he could have been.
But I tell you what, if he was what we wanted him to be, they would call him an embarrassment. But that's what we would have got what we wanted, what we needed. That's the sad part.
But
because anytime we look good doing stuff for us, we become an embarrassment.
But see, even in the process, you talk about embarrassment. The only people that get embarrassed is the people who are trying to appease the others. They're so busy trying to be liked by the others that they lose focus on what the intent should be. If you do right by the nation, everybody's going to side with you. The people who understand the dramatics about it. If you do right by the nation, you can't help it. You can't sit up there. You can look at him and say, you can call him all kinds of derogatory names, but you're still going to respect him as your president. Because he's done right by the people. And that's sometimes it's systems and processes that I have problems with sometimes because we make it hard for advancement. We make it hard, or we allow others to make it hard for us to advance as a people or advance as a culture because it's always been a us, us, us. And they've garnered all the support and put systems and processes for the betterment and entitlement of themselves. And we have to work at chipping away of all that entitlement to make it more widespread for everyone, an opportunity. And that takes effort. And it's not going to take the president. It's going to take everyone else, including the governors. That we feel. We're always looking for Superman. He was going to be Superman to come in. No, he was an average man, a very brilliant man, honorable, God-fearing, good man, but he's not Superman. And we were led to believe, or some of us felt, that maybe the Superman complex will come in to wipe away our issues. No, he had to deal with some of the issues himself at a highest level. I'm pretty certain facing a lot of these people around the world, they were calling him the NIG word.
Of course they did.
You know what I mean? Because they feel they were empowered, the most powerful man, but they're still going to have the bigotry that they had. So to me, it's a bottom line thing. Bottom line is we get what we get because we allow it to be. We have the proper people to be in place to make the proper changes, but it's going to take sacrifice and hard work to get there. It's not going to be immediate, but it's going to take the work to get there.
But also comes with that, was it our conception that he was going to do this? Okay, got to be the savior and everything. So, like I said, once again, we got to hold ourselves accountable and stuff too.
Yeah,
because we may think, he got in, he's going to do this for us. That's a concept that we took, but not really knowing all the facts.
Right.
We already know how some of the other states are and everything else and stuff like that. He may have had the house, then again, he may not have had the house. Because those that have been there before him and been there, and obviously they know how to work between the Democrats and Republicans and stuff. Come on, we see it all the time.
When it came to the House Tories, a lot of those guys did not do people's work. And that's the reason why a lot of those Democrats were voted out right after doing his first term.
But here's the issue. If he had done what we thought he was supposed to do, and the House and the Senate, that people didn't vote right, we'd understand exactly where we stood. But he kept us still in the fog because we still playing with the same people. It was the same players. Because if he was putting bills out that were going to benefit us, and then people were saying, "Oh, I'm not voting for this, I'm not voting for that," you know that the next time they come up in your state, you ain't voting for them.
And that's why you wasn't on a little bit early. That's what I'm saying. Even here on the local politics, we have to hold them accountable and responsible for everything. Because if you really look at it, it don't start at the top. It starts at the bottom. You got to build your way up. Once you start turning down the bottom and everything and building up with some good foundation, and you set and you keep everything moving, and whoever's there, I better do what I got to do because I know they're going to come at me. And we haven't been doing that.
Right.
We haven't. We still sitting at the same spot, same place, talking about the same thing. So it takes us within to do what we need to do to get it done.
We're stuck kissing a ring. We're stuck kissing a ring. We still think that the elected officials are better than we are. They're only as powerful as we make them. Like you said, it takes grassroots from the people. The people are the power. Only the people have the power, not the elected person. But if you allow them to think that they're better than you or more powerful than you, they're telling you to kiss the ring, then shame on you if you don't come at that shit because they do the way they do. Because they're only doing what they're allowed to do. They treat you like you shit because you've allowed them to treat you like you shit. If you're an elected, you're one person in a district of 100,000 people. Okay? You thinking I'm only one person. Well, that one person can get on this internet and make all kinds of noise. That one person can become 100,000 very quickly based on the opinion and the experience. But if you're sitting up there too busy kissing a ring or kissing an ass, you're not going to get anything out of it. Everyone plays into this prayer mentality, this predator mentality. Oh shit, we're never going to win. This is what I hear about the state. Oh shit, how are we going to get the best out of the state? Oh, they got it anyway. Yo, you gave up. You gave up. So now you want to kiss ass to try to get what you can out of it. Fuck out of here. If they're predators and they're damaging and they hurt, I'm going to come fighting you all the way down until the end. Because we have to fight for our own. And if you're willing to buckle, shuffle, and kiss ass, then you're not doing anything for the people. You're only doing it for your damn self. And you don't believe and you don't belong to be there. I mean, there's peacemakers. And it's never about the battle that you fight because the art of politics is the art of negotiation. It depends how you negotiate, right? So if you have elected officials, how they argue, how they go back and forth. If they're not open to discussion, then they can't have a discussion. If they're not open to listening to opposing thoughts, then they're not there for the people. They're only there for themselves. Boom, bad delegate, bad leader, get the fuck out. Vote them out. Shouldn't be in. Now, you can be protective and preserving of the community and not allow for bullshit to come in. But you have to discern from listening to everything to determine whether something's bullshit. But ultimately, it's not your choice. It's the choice of the people. It's the choice of the people. You stop kissing rings and kissing ass and not understanding that. Next time I see somebody put their hand out, I'm chopping it the fuck off. Don't tell me to kiss your ring. I'm not here to kiss nobody's ring. I'm here to do some work. Everyone out here needs to own up for their own responsibility and own up for the efforts that they need to do if you want true change in the community. You want true change in America, it's going to take effort. And not just one-sided because you want to sit there and take pictures. You want to take a photo out. Man, fuck all that. Get the cameras out of here. We got work to do. Don't sit up here. That's the problem. We love to create a narrative based on falsehoods that sometimes are manipulated through social networks. And we never get the message. We never get the efforts because we're too busy trying to create a facade. Truth of the matter is, we're not where we need to be. Truth of the matter is, we're not going to get there unless we put ourselves there.
Right.
That's it. That's it.
You definitely got to stop looking for people before a hand up.
Yep. That's it.
But then we got to have our own community giving us the hand that we need. Because we got people who can make things happen that aren't.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. We just got to do better at acknowledging our strengths and our weaknesses, man. Because some of us portray ourselves to be strong, but we weak as hell, man. Flail. We don't have the strength that is needed sometimes. And we're human beings, man. Not everyone's built to be that way. Sometimes, and it's also timing. Some of us are now getting into a point in time where we're looking respectively into retirement. 51 years, man. I've been in this shit over 20 years. That's a lot of work, a lot of straining, a lot of, consideration of how other people live and sacrifices, my own mental health. Over 20 years, man. And I'm still trying to do the best for the people. It's a lot of effort on any human being for anybody who's been active in it. Torres has been in the back, not getting the fanfare that he deserves, and in the background trying to do the best that he can. And he's getting beat down. People like to make suggestions here and there, and that's foul, man. If you know the person, you understand that his heart's for the community. You have people all over that are like that, man, because we care. We're not there for the fanfare. We're not there for the pictures. We're not there for the fucking party. We can celebrate later on and have a cookout when we finally accomplish something for the good of the people. I'm first one to be up on the grill. I'll cook for y'all in a minute. I ain't got no problem with that.
And as I always say, listen, They can talk about me, say what they want to say. They did the same thing about Jesus and calling on him today. So thank you
And
very
that's
much.
what I was thinking about. And that's what I was thinking about. Exactly.
Listen. Hey.
That's my exact sentiments.
Listen. I don't even worry about it. I do what I do from the heart.
That's
each
it.
and every day. So,
That's
like I said, they don't make me, they don't break me. There ain't nothing they can do for me. Only thing they can do me is join me and help me along and do what needs to be done. Keep the heart of community, and let's get out here and do something about this violence and make this world a better place, not only for us, but our children's children.
Yeah. But here's the addition to that. See how I'm willing to speak on your behalf loudly, proudly, because I know the honorable man that you are. Right?
Oh, I was reading the comment there. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good. I'll speak loudly and proudly on your defense and on your behalf for everything that you do. Not everyone has a me for you. Not everyone speaks highly about the people who are not focused in front of pictures. Not everyone gives the love and flowers to the people who work hard in the community.
Right.
It's about who's popular. And then the people who manipulate the conversations. You got this fool in office now. Got to be part of everybody's conversation. It's always about him. Fuck out of here. It's not about you. It's about the people who really work in the community, the hard work. The elders that really slaved and went through some shit so you can sit out there and exploit it. Give them some love, man. That's the shit that I don't see too much of. We don't share love. We don't put homage to one another. We're scared to give someone and exalt them for the efforts that we do. But we love to sit and take a picture behind a person, but won't speak nicely about how well he does. I've gotten into arguments about Craig Calloway and all the wonderful things that I know he's done in the community, but people like to villainize him. I say it always. He's done so much good in the community that, to me, outshines all the other shit. But the other shit he had to answer for. How many other people want to say that? Because they don't want to be looked at in a certain type of way. Fuck out of here, man. I love being honest the way I am, and I don't mind giving kudos where kudos is due. That's just how I was brought up, man. But people ain't like that, man. People ain't saying that shit, giving people respect and appreciation just cause. So when we talk about community love, you can see how it's limited. We put restrictions on love. We put limitations or requirements on how much I need to love. Man, fuck out of here. I give flowers where flowers is due. I don't mind exalting people. It ain't about me on this planet. It ain't. The new norm has my name on it. And sometimes I'm the one that talks the most. But it's about y'all. Shit. Adrian is more of an asset in most of these shows than I am. And I appreciate him so much for what he's done. Sandy comes out with these point of view that just are oddly had that make us think. That's what we need. I don't mind sharing. I don't mind exalting others. Because I've always found there's strength in all of us if we give love to one another first off. But
Mo, I've always said, politics is a sport. Everybody's got their favorite team. You know, whether it's the red or whether it's the blue. Everybody's got their favorite team here and there. And some people don't even have a team. They just go wherever they think that it will fit in. That's what it really boils down to. The higher up on the ladder you go, the more money you make. The lower down on the ladder, the least amount of money you make. It doesn't matter. You know, it does matter because if you're a community organizer and you're actually doing things in the community, you're not going to really make that much money. You know, but if you go up the ladder and stuff and you start mingling and trading off all of your morals and everything that you have, then you'll make a lot more money because you have no morals. You already sold your soul. So you're making a lot more money, but it's just that, you know, you don't have anything to go on. You spoke about a lot of guys like Jeff Van Drew. He jumped from a Republican to a Democrat or, you know, a back of whatever the hell you want to call it. But at the end of the day, he already sold his damn soul. Nobody's going to really trust him, you know, and everybody's going to say he's a typical politician. And that's what it really boils down to. A lot of people won't trust him. In certain countries, I've done a little bit of research. That shit he could have gone to jail for because you cannot take people's money and then not represent them where they actually paid for you to represent them. That's fraud. Bottom line, that's criminal. And he could have gone to jail for that in other countries. A lot of people never mention that. You know, and that's the way, because if I actually made a donation to Torres, you know, because you're running for office, and I give you $50,000, and then you get up to Washington after you've been voted in, and then you flip the script of my ass, I'll be the first one suing your ass right back.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Because you misrepresented it. You misrepresented, and that's fraudulent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't mention that stuff. They just went along with the same, and that's the reason why I always say there's nothing new in Jersey. When you think about the mob and all of these mobsters and the mob movies, if you really think about it, it was all created in New Jersey.
Yeah, it was.
Thought actually spoke there. That's where I got that from. John Story's like, look at some of the mob movies. It was all, look at little Nicky Scarfa was right in Atlantic City, boys.
Right.
That's what it's all about. The politics, sports, and the mob. That's it.
And you correct and you're right, Adrian. They can make all the money and you can do all the things you want, but you can't take it with you when you go. And I always say myself is, I always turn around and just, the best thing you can do is give service of yourself.
Yeah, be true.
And that's what I always try to do. Your presence is a lot more than money and everything. And even since this COVID and before the COVID, I still been hustling and working. I don't have all money and nothing like that, but I give what I can give, try to be where I can be, and try to help those who are less fortunate and everything that comes along. See, and I never stopped. The COVID don't stop me as long I'm just a vessel to do what I can do to help those who are less fortunate, because I've been there. I know where they come from and everything else. Even in my own struggles, I help everybody else and try to do what I can because it takes my mind off of what needs to be done. Like I said, in life, you get to dash from the time you're born, dash to the time you go. So what you doing between there, that's what counts, and that's all I just look for. I ain't no Democrat, Republican here and there. I did the political thing, this and that. My thing is the community. My thing is the community. They can even help you or they can even hurt you.
That's
so
right.
I prefer to be there, to do what I can. And like I said, that's just me,
Well, everybody has a part to play in this entire, scenario. Everybody has a part to play. Each and every individual is an architect to their own future, but we're also part of a community. And for a community to flourish, we have to be on the same page. Because a house divided cannot stand, period. That's just the way it is. It's always been that way.
Yeah.
Sandy, I see you a little perplexed over there. Is everything okay, or is it the line you're playing?
No, I'm listening. I'm actually doing my work.
I was playing the lotto or something,
I got work I got to do, sir. I'd like to go home too.
Yeah. Well, respectfully, gentlemen, it's been 3 hours and 49 minutes. So I'm just gonna suggest, folks, let's just close out. We had a good evening of conversation, and make sure that we're able to go back and recover. It's going to be a long weekend for a lot of us, man. So I just want you guys to understand that I appreciate the conversation that we had. And your points are always essential, man. Always helpful because it keeps us thinking.
I want to put something out there real quick because a lot of people are not aware. I posted this online also that the COVID relief package, there are about 3.2 million people are still unemployed. And all part of the COVID relief package, there was a particular part of that package that all of the people who are unemployed starting January 1st are able to get free health care if you've been unemployed. And there's no qualification methods involved there. So you have to go to healthcare.gov and sign up in order to get free healthcare, and that's only until the end of this year, because that was all part of the COVID relief package. So I'd just like to put that on the table for many people out there that it could actually help out. So you don't have to suffer in silence. You can go to your physician and your doctor and get yourself taken care of, because I've seen a friend of mine, he did not do that and he passed away at the age of 58. And I don't want to see that anyone else goes through that.
Amen.
So that's something good to know.
Amen. Thank you for sharing that. So as we normally do every week, like I said, we can probably hold this conversation depending on the topic ongoing. Before it closes out, I know, gentlemen, y'all would go into the nostalgic room and whip out your 8 tracks and reel tapes and remember this, remember that. Because that's that we share in those wonderful golden ages, and we can't deny how the impacts that it made. I'm like I said, I'm just very appreciative to all the conversations that we've had, the different points of view that some of you bring about, and sticking to your guns in a lot of situations, because it's necessary that we have to be respectable and respectful of each other's points of view. It don't happen a lot, but I'm glad that you're able to come on the show, and appreciate you, everyone. We're going to close out for the night. I'm going to give everybody a chance, like we normally do, as a round robin, just to say a few words, whatever it is you'd like to speak on, for however long you need to take it, to speak your mind, or to speak, or to inform people of anything that you're possibly doing, or anyone else that you're aware of doing in the community for the community's sake. The New Norm 2.0 has been a conduit of information. We've always tried to be the conduit, always on. So we're going to continue being the conduit. So let's start out with the last person that joined on. That's Sandy Richardson. Sandy, bro, what you like to say? Is there anything you'd like to add to close out for the night?
What I'd like to say is the difference between rich people and poor people is just the amount of education and information they get. Because if poor people had the amount of information that they really needed to prosper, we would. So we need to be like we are with this new norm. We need to give a whole lot of information to a lot of people so we can actually do some of the things that we're talking about. That's what I say.
I agree. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. No problem. Appreciate you guys too.
Yeah, brother Torres.
All right, I do a little quote by St. Augustine. He said, "Unjust law is no law at all." Everything that's going on and everything that's happening, we need to start being the law in our own community and doing what we need to do to move things forward. Let's not forget those that are less fortunate, especially our seniors, but our children are our greatest natural resources and everything that's going on. Because if we can't protect our own children with everything that's going on, what use are we? What use are we? So we have to leave a legacy behind. And one of the things we know that is the 4th of July coming up. Everybody be safe, and everybody has been watching. But remember, it's a lot of people that won't be able to celebrate the 4th of July for what it is. If you have extra, make sure that you give. I am going to be starting the Operation Food Drive for some of the soldiers up at Fort Dix and everything else and stuff, for some of their families that went away, to try to help them out a little bit. But as always, like I said, we need to pull it together and get back to the dinner table, and let's start eating. And I mean, that's with knowledge, education, mental health, and everything putting together for the community, and do what we need to do.
Okay. Appreciate that, man. Any information you'd like to share with us, you can put it on the website. Just let Adrian know, and we'll be able to put it up on the website for information's sake.
Be glad to do so.
Yep.
Yeah,
all right, go ahead. You're looking like Bootsy Collins.
Yeah.
Now, I'm on
You want to go there with me, bro?
No, I'm only joking with you.
You remember, we got over 5,000 plus albums. You know what I'm saying?
That's a lot. That's a lot.
You know,
Well,
get that Rudy Ray Moore album out and let us hear some.
you know, it's like that. You know, Rapping Duke. Are you familiar with that guy? Sandy's laughing.
Yeah, funny.
That's all I have to say to that. You know,
well, Adrian, you got some closing words for everybody?
you know, think about it, Mo, you know, it's the weekend. You know, a lot of people, you know, 4th of July. But remember, you know, COVID is still around. A lot of us think that we're out of this. You know, we're not out of the woods yet, folks. You know, and, you know,
That's right.
From a standpoint, we would love to be out of the woods, but we're still not out of the woods as of yet. So we still have to continue to keep doing what we've done, you know, back then by, you know, we would love to get anybody get around me as far as that social distance is concerned. So I enjoy being social distance from individuals anyway, you know, so that's just my personal option.
Right.
But we want you to definitely be safe out there over the weekend, because we like to see people back after the week, you know, after the holiday. So just be safe, you know, cover up, do what you got to do to survive, you know. So basically keep it simple.
Right.
And enjoy your 4th. That's it.
That's cool. I ain't hear. What was that last part?
Enjoy the 4th of July.
Come on, man. You're supposed to say it. Come on, man.
You want me to say that? Oh, yeah. You
Say
know
it.
what I'm saying?
I was waiting for it.
I got
your phrase. That's your phrase.
Be positive, but test negative, because that's what it's all about.
Right. That's right.
Be positive, but test negative.
He's the man, man. He's the man. That's what I tell everybody. We greatly appreciate everybody stopping by and plugging in, connecting with us here on the New Norm 2.0 with Mo Delgado. It's very appreciative of carrying a message at times, the dialogue that we need to have we're able to have here, and we share with so many people. We hope that you learn some new information. We hope that you've been inspired to make some changes in your own life and to help make change occur in the lives of those around you. It's extremely important that we lean on each other and stop feeding on one another, and understanding that life is fragile. And at any time, any one of us that's here may not be here tomorrow. We got to appreciate each other for what it is for the moment. It's a treasure. It's a blessing to have one another. And I'm very appreciative I have my brothers around me, and everyone else has been logged in. This is the new norm 2.0. And as Adrian says, make sure you test positive. I mean, test negative.
Positive.
Oh,
Test negative.
That's because Adrian's saying.
Yeah, be positive and test negative.
Be positive, right. You see, Torres got new paddles, man. He's starting to use them now.
Yeah, I know. I'm checking that out, man. That's a new flavor.
Here's one for you, Mo. Here's one for you. Muhammad Ali said, service is the rent you pay to stay on earth.
Yes, it is. One of my favorite sayings. Service is the rent you pay for staying on earth. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh, and in addition to, I'm just reminding everybody on Sunday, 4th of July, Independence Day, outside all the fireworks, if you are in Atlantic City, if you'd like to see something that's very emotionally built and built off the foundation of something that's good and intention, come visit the 800 block of Virginia Avenue. The garden is Moo's Garden. It's a community initiative done by someone in the community to commemorate and memorialize people that passed away. If you're here from the hours of 1 to 7 is what they sent notification to us. But Jeffrey said it's from 2 to 4. Either which way, if you're able to come on down, see the miraculous work he's done on his own, and let's help with it, whoever it is that we need to help his idea and his dream to continue, because it benefits us all. So God bless you all. Make sure you be safe. Enjoy your 4th, and don't be afraid of just releasing, man. You ain't got to be all tense all the time. God bless you.
Taurus, if you need to get my number or something, shoot Mo a text or whatever the case may be. He could give you my number.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
I'll put it on the internet.
Okay, we'll put it all together and make it happen.
Okay, just get in contact with him, and I'll get with you, and we'll make it happen. No problem.
If not, y'all can chat. Nobody can see it but y'all. You can chat. The private chat on the side. You see that? You know that you can do that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, matter of fact, I got one for you. Stay on. All right? Stay on. And stay on. And then in a second, when I do all this stuff, we'll still be on, and you guys can speak how you want. Okay? Stay on.
I'll just shoot him my number, and we could talk, because like I said, the private chat on the back right there, as you mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I'll just shoot it.
Oh, he did a promo. Okay.
Yeah, you see my number there?
Oh.
Okay.
Stay there.
Well, use Mo number. Since